Chapter 100. It was no wonder that Pei Yutang had turned to her for help. Pei Yuqing was completely stubborn. Besides, he was the one in the right. After a few sentences, she felt as though she had been brainwashed. Trying to reason with him was impossible. Pei Yuqing was a principled man, so he wouldn't make an exception. This was too difficult to deal with. She wasn't the type to argue. She had never won a single argument with Han Yishuan. She had to compromise every single time because she couldn't out-talk him. Lin Yen sighed and shot Pei Yutang a look that said, "I've tried my best. Good luck. I'll burn Joss paper for you next year." Pei Yutang knew this very well. He had been struggling because he wasn't willing to give up. The young man stared at the documents on the coffee table. The last ray of light in his eyes dimmed as he clenched his fists tightly. With reddened eyes he said, "I didn't fulfill my promise. It's my fault. I'll leave." Lin Yen had no other choice. She inched closer to Pei Yuqing and tugged at the man's sleeve gently. "I'm sorry. I know that this is your family's business and I shouldn't interfere, but can you give third young master another chance?" Pei Yuqing was speechless. Lin Yen replied, "Just give him another chance. Please. I beg you." Pei Yuqing didn't speak. His cold eyes darted from the girl's pleading eyes to the hand that was tugging at his sleeve. Lin Yen coughed softly. "If you really can't do it, forget it." After some time Lin Yen was about to send Pei Yutang off when she suddenly heard a man's voice. Pei Yuqing replied, "Sure." Lin Yen was speechless, Pei Nanshu was speechless, Pei Yutang was speechless. What had he just heard? Lin Yen looked incredulous. You agreed? Why is this happening? Why had he agreed all of a sudden? She felt that she couldn't persuade him. "I can give him another chance," Pei Yuqing replied firmly. Lin Yen couldn't help but ask, "Why did you suddenly agree?" Pei Yutang and Pei Nanshu turned to look at their brother. They knew their big brother's temperament too well. With his IQ no one could convince him. His principles would never be broken for anything. Hence, Pei Yuqing had merely asked coldly, "Are you going to interfere?" Pei Nanshu gave up on trying to reason with him. Pei Yuqing's eyebrows curled into a faint smile as he studied the girl. "It's not wise to reason with your girlfriend." Lin Yen was speechless. It was a knowing strike. This was simply. The moment the man finished speaking, Lin Yen felt her heart thump wildly again. The man before her had been cold and aloof just a second ago. However, a second later he had turned into a doting and compromising man. Pei Yutang was speechless. Wasn't this too discriminatory? Pei Yuqing added, "Besides, you can intervene." Lin Yen was still in a daze, so she didn't understand him. "What do you mean?" Pei Yuqing replied, "My family matters. You can intervene in my family matters." Chapter 101. After Pei Yuqing relented, his assistant and bodyguards left. Pei Yutang and Pei Nanshu left as well, leaving Lin Yen and Pei Yuqing alone in the living room. Lin Yen had always felt that her relationship with Pei Yuqing wasn't real. She had also felt that Pei Yuqing was superior and distant from her. She had never imagined that Pei Yuqing would change his mind because of a few words from her. Pei Yuqing strode to the pool outside the floor-to-ceiling windows while Lin Yen trailed behind him. The night was as cold as water, and the stars shone on the surface of the water. "Mr. Pei, can I ask you a question?" "What is it?" "Well, why did you agree to my confession so casually? Why did you agree to let me be your girlfriend?" Lin Yen finally asked. She was really curious. Although she had thought of many reasons, she still found it unbelievable. Pei Yuqing tilted his head and gazed at her. "Did you think that I agreed casually?" Lin Yen, who was startled, hastily waved her hands. No. I didn't mean that you were casual. I was just surprised. After all, you don't belong to the same world as me. You didn't take the initiative to contact me, so I thought that you were just saying that casually. Actually, after I went home, I thought about it for a long time and I regretted it for a long time. I felt that what I said that day was too much. Actually, I just wanted to watch you from afar. I was disrespectful to you that night because I was drunk. I swear that I only have pure admiration for you. I don't have any other dirty thoughts. I didn't expect you to agree, so." Pei Yuqing glanced at her nonchalantly. "So." Lin Yen swallowed her saliva and was speechless. "So, why don't we break up?" The word break up was on the tip of her tongue. In the end she changed her mind and said, So, I will cherish you even more. I will love you even more. I will love you even more. I will be devoted to you until death." Pei Yuqing studied the girl's nervous expression and chuckled. "Are you afraid of me?" Lin Yen chuckled awkwardly. No, that's just respect. That's all. You're like an otherworldly immortal to me. I can admire you from afar, but I can't play with you. I feel that dating me would be an insult to you. Sai, why is it so hard to break up? Big boss. I really don't deserve you. Pei Yuqing remained silent for a long time. Lin Yin couldn't figure out what he was thinking. She felt a little flustered and couldn't help but sneak a peek at him. In the end, she met the man's eyes, which were darker than the night sky. What if it's not just for viewing from afar? The man said. Lin Yan's heart almost jumped out of her chest. What was the meaning of this? It couldn't be what she thought it was. Pei Yuqing reached out and gently massaged the girl's neck. Don't be nervous. I've told you that our relationship won't affect your life. You don't have to change your attitude, view, or even the way you address me. Everything can be done in a way that makes you comfortable. Lin Yin had initially wanted to break up with him, but her heart started to crumble because of his words. He really was a celestial boyfriend. Chapter 102. Lin Yin had no idea how she got back to her apartment. She felt like she was floating in the air. She had been dating Han Yishuan for years, but she had never felt so dizzy before. She had to calm down. She had to wake up early tomorrow for her photo shoot. Lin Yin had just laid down when her phone rang. This car isn't going to kindergarten, had typed, big sister-in-law. I will never forget the favor of saving my life. If you need me in the future, I will do anything for you, even if I have to climb a mountain of swords or plunge into a sea of flames. This car isn't going to kindergarten, had typed, but big sister-in-law, your progress is a little slow. Why are you meeting Mr. Pei and Miss Lin? This car isn't going to kindergarten, had typed, why don't I send my brother to your bed? That would be the fastest way to get to know him. Big sister-in-law, will you consider it? Lin Yin was speechless. Could they not talk about such things in the middle of the night? Was she even going to sleep? Misty City amid the setting sun, had typed, forget it. I'm not that kind of person. Lin Yan's face darkened as she replied. Then she turned on the silent mode and lay down to sleep. The next morning Lin Yan woke up early. On her dressing table, there was a mess of cosmetics and skincare products. Other than some that had been given to her by her sponsors, she had bought them randomly. She wasn't interested in these things at all. Lin Yan rummaged through the mess and found a bottle of Nature Hall's Ice Muscle Lotion. She applied it to her face. She still knew about this kind of reliable national brand. Then she seriously did some basic skincare. Makeup was out of the question. Her skill points were really not on this kind of skill. Finally, she opened the wardrobe and glanced at it. The clothes she bought were all black and very loose. They were very comfortable to wear, but their aesthetics were indescribable. When she wore them, she looked like an old man buying vegetables at the market. She had used all the money she had received to pay for her rent, and a portion of it had been transferred to her mother's account. She only had some living expenses left, but she didn't have the funds to buy clothes. Hence, she had no choice but to choose a white dress. She recalled that when she had met Pei Yuqing the night before, she had been wearing the baggy pants and top that she had bought herself. She hadn't looked feminine at all. Pei Yuqing's gaze. Was there something wrong with him? Lin Yin? Wang Jingyang knocked on the door. Lin Yin got changed and opened the door. Wang Jingyang sized her up and gave her a look of disdain as usual. You haven't done anything for the past few days. I thought you were hacked to death at home by your fans. Lin Yin rolled her eyes at him. I told you that I'm cultivating in seclusion. I remember you were taking photos today. Do you want me to send you there? Wang Jingyang asked. Lin Yin shook her head. It's fine. I don't want anyone of the opposite sex within 10 steps of me. The corner of Wang Jingyang's mouth twitched. All right then, be careful. Lin Yin waved her hands. Okay. Wang Jingyang looked at her, wanting to say something but hesitating. In the end he muttered, don't be so hard on yourself. If you really can't do it, you can quit. Well, at least you still have me. Lin Yin nodded gratefully and patted Wang Jingyang's shoulder. Got it? Thank you. You're indeed my best brother. Wang Jingyang, brother my ass. Chapter 103. Lin Yin greeted Wang Jingyang and prepared to head downstairs. However, she had barely taken a few steps when her dress, which was too long, caught on her high heels and tore it. Lin Yin cursed out loud. F***C. This is my most expensive dress. Wang Jingyang rubbed his forehead, looking gloomy. Don't wear it if you don't like it. Don't make things difficult for yourself. Lin Yin stroked her chin. You're right. How am I supposed to escape if I'm dressed like this? Wang Jingyang was speechless. Lin Yin slipped back to her room and changed into a set of comfortable sportswear. This was Lin Yan's first film after her comeback. Zhao Hongling and Duo had come to pick her up personally. Lin Yin put on a mask and cap as she got into the car. Why did you come down dressed like this? Duo Duo looked disdainful. Lin Yin sighed. I was wearing a dress but my high heels tore it. Besides, I'm not used to wearing dresses. You have to make do with it. Duo Duo was speechless. How did you manage to create this image? How can you be so crude? It's fine as long as you're dressed appropriately. I don't have any requirements. It's still early. You can take a break, Zhao Hongling said as she drove. Sister Ling is the best. Lin Yin replied gleefully. She had recovered from her stress disorder and could drive on her own. However, she still had to work hard to buy a car. She couldn't let Sister Ling fetch her all the time. Soon, they arrived at the location where the filming crew would be taking photos. Lin Yin was the first artist to arrive. When she arrived, the other artists weren't there yet. Only a group of crew members were busy preparing the set and lighting. She had just reached the entrance when she heard whispers and strange gazes. Hey look, Lin Yin. Lin Yin is here. F***CK. It's really her. Doesn't she like to wear a white dress every day? Doesn't she look like a delicate white lotus? I almost couldn't recognize her today. She must have changed her clothes because she's afraid that the fans might recognize her and beat her up. I've been in the entertainment industry for so long, but this is the first time I've seen such a disgusting woman. She only knows how to pretend to be weak to ride on other people's popularity. That's right. She's just a high school graduate. How dare she leech off Shin Xiaomu and the others? She even claims that she's Han Yishuan's girlfriend. She's insane. I don't know how he managed to sneak into our production team. I'm afraid he's interested in Mr. Pei's popularity. He's out of his league. Duo Duo noticed that their words were getting louder and louder. She hastily pressed Lin Yan's arm. Bear with it even if you're unhappy. Pretend that you didn't hear anything. You have the lowest status in this crew. Besides, they're right. Lin Yan was speechless. Personal assistant? Zhao Hongling said, given your current situation, it's best to keep a low profile. No matter what happens, don't give any response. Zhao Hongling was worried about Lin Yan's ability to manage public relations. Hence, she told her to keep a low profile and not do anything. Lin Yan replied obediently, got it? I've even downloaded the game. I'll play my game later. Chapter 104. Lin Yan found a secluded corner and sat down. She put on her earphones and began to play Arena of Valor. She hadn't played in a long time, and her ranking had dropped to bronze. She had nothing better to do. Duo Duo stared at Lin Yan, who seemed unreliable. She couldn't help but ask Zhao Hongling, Sister Ling, what are you thinking? Although Lin Yan has been assigned to work under you, she isn't under any control. She only listens to her sister and her assistant, which is why she has ruined everything that she has been able to do. She is just a pile of mud that can't be helped. She has ruined all the resources that you have worked so hard for. Even your reputation has been tarnished. In my opinion, you shouldn't care about someone like her. Zhao Hongling was expressionless as she replied calmly, since I have signed her, I have to be responsible for her. However, if she continues to be stubborn, I can't help her. After all, she was in a precarious situation. Duo Duo knew that Zhao Hongling was a principled person, so she wouldn't be able to change her mind. Hence, she could only mutter under her breath. I hope she doesn't cause any trouble. Sister Ling, who is the female lead of this movie? Why is the production team being so secretive? They haven't announced the makeup yet. Duo Duo scanned the room before she pressed on curiously. Zhao Hongling replied, we will find out soon. Duo Duo nodded. You're right, the makeup artist had to appear today. After a while, a commotion broke out at the entrance. A group of bodyguards and assistants escorted a female artist to the studio. Duoduo's face fell when she saw the woman in the middle. Jiang Sifei. Jiang Sifei had exquisite makeup on today and was wearing the latest Chanel dress. The slim cut accentuated her femininity and figure. She was dazzling and looked like a goddess. The woman in the champagne-colored suit beside her was House of Millions Media's top manager, Zhu Manqian. She was also Jiang Sifei's current manager. As soon as she saw the two of them, Duoduo's anger rose. Why is she here? Zhao Hongling's eyes flickered, but she remained silent. Jiang Sifei, who seemed to have seen them, didn't seem to have any intention of avoiding them. Instead, she turned around and walked toward Zhao Hongling. Jiang Sifei stood in front of Zhao Hongling and glanced at Lin Yan, who was engrossed in her game. She smiled and greeted her politely. Sister Ling, what a coincidence. Did you bring your artist here for a makeup test? Zhu Manqian chuckled when she saw Lin Yan. She raised her eyebrows and said exaggeratedly, Director Zhao, are you serious? I merely took Sifei with me, yet you're only capable of managing artists like her? I heard that she's playing what's the female lead again? Oh, the fourth female lead? Zhu Manqian caressed her red nail polish as she said proudly, what a coincidence. Our Sifei is also here for a makeup test. However, Sifei is the female lead of this movie. After all, she has just joined our company. Take it as a small welcome gift from me as her manager. Jiang Sifei was the female lead of this movie? Chapter 105. Zhu Manqian sneered sarcastically. You can't say that. A good bird chooses a good tree to nest in. It's only right and proper. Sifei is such a good person. Isn't it a waste if she continues to follow an incompetent manager? Who are you calling incompetent? If it weren't for Sister Ling, would she be where she is today? How dare she strut around in front of Sister Ling? Jiang Sifei's face darkened when she heard this. She hated it when people attributed her success to Zhao Hongling. It was as though she was nothing without Zhao Hongling. She had been Zhao Hongling's puppet for so many years and had had enough of it. Besides, a small company like Star Entertainment wouldn't be able to provide her with any better resources. Zhu Manqian crossed her arms. If she was capable, why couldn't she get a decent female lead role? Didn't she see what kind of roles she gave our Sifei before? She was either a country girl or a delinquent. Tiske. I'm giving Sifei the role of the lead actress alongside Mr. Pei. Many people are dying to get this opportunity. Jiang Sifei's expression softened a little when she heard this. She was glad that she had made the decision to join House of Millions Media. After all, House of Millions Media was a subsidiary of Triumph Entertainment. It had recently been taken over by Triumph Entertainment's daughter Lin Shuya. Naturally, she didn't lack resources. Sister Ling did this for. Duo wanted to retort, but Zhao Hongling stopped her. Actually, Jiang Sifei's looks were average. Zhao Hongling had chosen her because she felt that she had good potential and that she was good at acting. Hence, she had given her artistic films with deep meanings. She had hoped that Jiang Sifei would walk the path of a capable actress. The country girl that Zhu Manqian had mentioned was Jiang Sifei's masterpiece. She had won the Golden Palm Award for Best Supporting Actress. She had been confident that Jiang Sifei would win the Best Actress award if she had a few more years. It was a pity that Jiang Sifei had been blinded by the fame and fortune of the entertainment industry. Meeting One's Match had a good cast and was a big production. It was a movie that could be screened on the big screen. However, it was a commercial film with a male lead. She had read the script. The female lead was just a pretty face in the movie. Her role was to serve as a foil to the male lead. Jiang Sifei's performance in this role was beneath her. Besides, she wasn't good-looking enough to play this role. However, Zhao Hongling knew that Jiang Sifei wouldn't listen to her no matter what she said. Hence she kept quiet. The reporters who had come to visit Jiang Sifei arrived one after another. All of them swarmed over to Jiang Sifei. This was Zhu Manqian's usual method of creating hype. These reporters must have been specially invited by her after she released the news. The reporter replied, Sifei, I heard that you have joined a new company, House of Millions Media. The female lead in Meeting One's Match is the first role that the new company has accepted for you. It's your first time acting with Mr. Pei. What are your thoughts? Jiang Sifei replied, I'm very excited to be working with Mr. Pei. I also want to thank my company, House of Millions Media, and my manager, Miss Zhu, for helping me secure this role. Working with House of Millions Media was the wisest decision I've ever made. Chapter 106. Jiang Sifei glanced at Zhu Manqian. This, Zhu Manqian quipped, someone purposely obstructed Sifei's career and forced her to accept lousy films. Sifei couldn't take it anymore, so she chose to leave. I hope that someone knows how to behave. Don't treat your artist as a money-making tool. Compared to Jiang Sifei's crowd, Zhao Hongling's side was deserted. There was no one around. Duoduo's eyes were bloodshot as she glared at the two of them. That ingrate. I'm so angry. Why are you so smug? If it hadn't been for Sister Ling, would she be where she is today? Not only is she ungrateful, but she is also trying to smear my name. No, I have to make things clear to the reporters. It's not what she said. Duo tried to squeeze her way through the crowd, but Jiang Sifei was surrounded. The reporters' attention was on Jiang Sifei, so no one was paying attention to them. One of the cameramen shoved Toto, causing the heavy equipment to slam into Toto. Duo staggered a step back and yelped in pain. Lin Yin, who had been playing games in a corner, removed her earphones and stretched lazily. Just as Duo was about to be knocked down again, Lin Yin grabbed her arm and pulled her aside. Lin Yin, why are you pulling me? I have to make things clear to them. Duo blurted out anxiously. Don't be anxious. It's easy to be the center of attention and make them listen to you, Lin Yin replied calmly. Duo replied, easy for you to say. Who would listen to us? In the entertainment industry, people like us have no right to speak. Lin Yin was naturally aware of this. She didn't retort. Instead, she stood behind the reporters and said calmly, hello everyone. Excuse me. Is there anyone who would like to interview me? *CK. Who are you? Get lost. One of the reporters didn't even look back as he continued to interview Jiang Sifei. Lin Yin grinned. I'm Lin Yin. The moment Lin Yin spoke, the entire place fell silent. After a few seconds, everyone turned to look at the person who had spoken. *CK. Lin Yin? Is that Lin Yin? Are you serious? Hadn't Lin Yin never accepted interviews? Every time, it's her assistant who comes forward. Lin Yin coughed softly. Hello everyone. That's me. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. The female lead at the center of the scandal was interviewed in person, which was much more explosive than the female lead's interview in this movie. What did Lin Yan's name represent? Her name meant gossip and breaking news. A few reporters from magazines and online platforms that focused on gossip couldn't help but rush over. However, there were many mainstream platforms that didn't care about her. Hence, they didn't make a move. Besides, they had been hired by Zhu Manqian. Naturally, they wouldn't leave. Lin Yin scanned everyone and grinned. Today I will tell you everything I know. I can answer everything you want to know. Lin Yin replied, oh yeah? For example. Shen Xiaomu and I, the eyes of the remaining reporters lit up, and a small group of them ran over. Lin Yin quipped, and the secret that I have to tell Wei Shufeng. As soon as she finished speaking, another group of reporters rushed over. Even the reporters that Zhu Manqian had hired couldn't hold back any longer. Lin Yin quipped, what happened between me and Tang Jia that night? What happened between me, Han Yishuan, and Lin Shuya? Why is Mr. Tang Jia involved in this? In an instant, almost all the reporters turned their cameras to face Lin Yin and dashed toward her with their cameras and microphones. There were many A-listers in the industry, and Jiang Sifei wasn't the most outstanding one. She didn't have much gossip to talk about. Chapter 107. Some time ago, Lin Yin had caused a scandal with Lin Shuya and Han Yishuan. Then she had vanished without a trace, causing them to lose a lot of sales. After a long time, Lin Yin finally resurfaced. The moment she did, the entire entertainment industry was shaken by the scandal. This time it was with Mr. Pei, and there was a picture of the truth. It was a pity that both parties denied it the moment it came out. No one in the entertainment industry dared to write about Pei Nanshu's scandals. Hence, such a huge and enviable gossip died down. It had never occurred to them that Lin Yin, who had never accepted interviews personally, would appear before the media. This was a ruthless person who could casually make big news out of anything he said. Today's trip was truly worth it. At the thought of this, the reporters went crazy. Regardless of whether they were from the mainstream media or the tabloids, they couldn't care less about being reserved. All of them swarmed over and completely forgot about Jiang Sifei. Who doesn't want traffic these days? Even the staff on the side unconsciously put down the work in their hands and stretched their necks to look over. Jiang Sifei, who had been the center of attention, was suddenly deserted. She stood there awkwardly in her luxurious gown. Zhu Manqian didn't expect that Zhao Hongling's underling would steal all the limelight with just a few words. Her face darkened. Hello. Reporter Jiang? Reporter Feng. Where are you going? She had spent a lot of money and connections to hire these reporters to support Jiang Sifei. In the end, they had all gone to Lin Yin. What was going on? Wasn't she just making a wedding dress for someone else? Lin Yin, that little b*tc. How dare she try to gain popularity by rubbing her head? Zhu Manqian hadn't expected that Lin Yin would be this shameless. If anyone else had been scolded like this, they would have hidden away like a coward. She, on the other hand, actually swaggered out on her own. Unfortunately, those reporters were really hooked by her. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up as she grinned at Zhu Manqian. Zhu Manqian was infuriated. It was all thanks to Lin Shuya. In order to smear her name, Lin Shuya had done everything she could to create a scandal. She had even brought up Pei Chen's name. In that case, she would make good use of her unique resources and turn her disadvantage into an advantage. She used the knife that Lin Shuya had used to stab her. Duo glanced at the reporters and recalled how Lin Yin had said that she had millions of haters. She was at a loss for words. Director Jiang Yiming and producer Feng Anhua, who had just entered the room, had assumed that the female lead, Jiang Xifei, would be surrounded by the reporters. They hadn't expected that Jiang Xifei would be standing alone in a corner. Lin Yin had managed to stir up all the reporters with just a few words. "Producer Feng, look at this. What a scandal. We were just taking our photo and it turned out like this." Jiang Yiming frowned. A glint flashed across Feng Anhua's eyes, and he said in a relaxed tone, "It's fine, it's fine. Let her be. Why not take this kind of free publicity opportunity?" She had been blacklisted by Triumph Entertainment for spreading rumors about Han Yishuan and Lin Shuya. Logically speaking, the crew did not want to use such a troublesome artist. Chapter 108. Instantly, all the reporters swarmed over and aimed their cameras in Lin Yan's direction. Lin Yan didn't tell anyone that she had been suffering from depression and insomnia ever since she had returned to the country. Perhaps because of the change in her mentality, she had been improving day by day, even though she hadn't done anything on purpose. She had been busy with her studies and her diet had returned to normal. Her long-term insomnia had improved as well. She had simply gone to the bathroom in the morning, and her skin was in excellent condition. She was wearing a simple black sweater and a pair of slim jeans that accentuated her long, slender legs. Her long hair cascaded down her shoulders like strands of silk. She hadn't put on any makeup and her skin wasn't as pale as it used to be. Instead, it was as fair and flawless as white jade. Not even her pores could be seen, and her skin glowed with a natural red. The girl removed her cap slowly, revealing her features. She had an exquisite nose, and her lips were the color of cherry blossoms. Her eyebrows looked as though they had been dyed with ink, and the corners of her peach blossom eyes were slightly arched. They shimmered like stars, and the lazy smile in her eyes was like the finishing touch to her beauty. Her entire face seemed livelier and livelier. Previously, when Lin Yin had spread rumors about Han Yishuan and Lin Shuya, the paparazzi had taken a photo of her. She looked like an unkempt ghost. All the reporters had assumed that they would see an unkempt, gloomy, and hysterical woman. They hadn't expected to see such a stunning beauty. In an instant, the entire studio fell eerily silent. Lin Yin had been half covering her face with her cap ever since she had entered the room. She had been engrossed in her game, so the staff hadn't seen her clearly earlier. Now they could finally see her face. If Lin Yin hadn't revealed her identity, the reporters wouldn't have dared to recognize her. After some time, they finally snapped back to their senses and started to whisper among themselves. What the F***ck? This beauty is Lin Yin? She has changed so much. Did she go for plastic surgery? If you look closely, her features haven't changed much. It's just that, how should I put it? She gives off a completely different vibe. Actually, Lin Yin is really good looking. Do you guys still remember the cover photo of Lin Yin that went viral on the internet? Actually, when Lin Yin had first debuted, she had exploded in popularity because of a photograph. It was a magazine photo of Lin Yin sitting in a vintage sports car. She was propping her forehead up lazily as she gazed at the sky outside the window. Her eyes seemed to be burning with passion. It was this photo that shocked the netizens. Even the blank and sad look on the girl's face was moving. That was how Lin Yin had gotten her first batch of fans. Just one photo could attract countless fans. Such a unique condition was something that many people in the entertainment industry yearned for but could not get. It was a pity that Lin Yan's condition deteriorated as time went by. Perhaps it was because she had lost too much weight, but her body had become thinner and thinner. Her beautiful face had become increasingly gloomy, which made people dislike her more and more. She had lost her natural liveliness, let alone her makeup and clothes. However, unexpectedly, after a few days, the girl who appeared in front of the public once again seemed to have been reborn and reborn. It was clearly the same face, but it was breathtakingly beautiful. Chapter 109. Jiang Xifei clenched her teeth in anger. That be *tch Lin Yin. How dare a lowly actress steal her limelight? Zhu Manqian sneered coldly. No wonder Zhao Hongling brought her out. She must have spent money on plastic surgery. Your ex-agent really wanted money so much that he went crazy. Jiang Xifei folded her arms. She had no choice. She had no one else to work for after I left. Their voices were loud, so Lin Yan's eyes pierced through the crowd and landed on Zhu Manqian and Jiang Xifei. The corners of her mouth curled up, but her eyes didn't reach her eyes. Zhao Hongling had no one else to work for her because she had spent most of her energy on Jiang Xifei. Lin Yin raised her voice and said, I heard manager Zhu say that my manager, Miss Zhao Hongling, had given Jiang Xifei bad roles in order to earn money? Zhu Manqian scoffed when she noticed that Lin Yan had suddenly turned the tables on her. What? Did I say something wrong? Miss Jiang Sifei, you didn't deny what your manager Zhu Manqian said, right? Lin Yan asked Jiang Sifei. Jiang Sifei's expression darkened. She didn't speak, which meant that she had tacitly agreed. She was too ordinary, so she had always been very concerned about her appearance. However, Zhao Hongling had made her take on unsophisticated roles and even made her look ugly. She had had enough of it. Every time she saw those comments on the internet that said she was ugly, she hated them to the core. Lin Yan's beautiful face, even without makeup, was like a thorn stabbing at her. Lin Yan sneered coldly at Jiang Sifei's tacit agreement. She scanned the reporters and said, "All right then. In that case, let me take a look at Miss Jiang Sifei's works over the years." He wasn't talented and didn't have any other strong points, but his memory was pretty good. If I'm not wrong, Miss Jiang Sifei has taken on 5 roles in the past 3 years. Her first film, which was the role of the country girl that manager Zhu had disdained, was Jiang Sifei's first film. It was also the film that made her famous. Her first film had won her the Golden Palm Award for Best Supporting Actress. The second film, which was the delinquent girl that manager Zhu disdained, had missed the award ceremony, but it was well received on the internet and was praised by many famous people. His third film was a collaboration with Jiang Jia, the movie Queen. It was nominated for the Best Chinese Film at the Lorraine Film Festival. In the fourth drama, she took on the leading role alone and was nominated for the Golden Palm Award for Best Actress. A month ago, Miss Jiang Sifei won the Golden Palm Award for Best Actress and jumped into the A-list. Lin Yan's voice was loud and clear as she finished her sentence in one breath. Then she glared at Zhu Manqian and Jiang Sifei coldly. Everyone knows that most of these films are artistic films. Their combined earnings might not even be comparable to a commercial film or a melodramatic drama. Manager Zhu, Miss Jiang Sifei, both of you claim that Zhao Hongling is only interested in making money and that she has judged all of Jiang Sifei's films to be lousy. Do you think that the judges are blind or that the entire audience is blind? Or do you think that films that don't make money are lousy films? The entire hall fell silent when Lin Yan finished her sentence. Chapter 110. Although Lin Yan had a bad reputation and almost no one believed her, what she had just said was logical and logical. There was nothing wrong with it. Jiang Sifei's fame and reputation were inextricably linked to the roles she had taken on. Besides, everyone in the industry had acknowledged Zhao Hongling's talent. However, the moment Jiang Sifei had jumped ship, she had started to deny everything that her ex-manager had done for her. She had even denied her past. She had even complained that the roles she had played weren't big enough. Wasn't this too much? Jiang Sifei was speechless when she heard Lin Yan's words. Her face turned pale. Zhu Manqian, who had gotten carried away earlier, hadn't thought before she spoke. She knew that something was amiss when she heard Lin Yan's words. All the roles Zhao Hongling had taken on for Jiang Sifei had been failed literary films. Some of them had even lost money. Given the current situation, what else could they be other than lousy films? Zhu Manqian had never imagined that Lin Yan would use the awards as an excuse. She had even mentioned the judges and the fans. Lin Yan's words were so convincing that the reporters started to change sides. Jiang Yiming, who was standing aside, nodded in approval. Even a reporter who had accepted Zhu Manqian's red packet couldn't help but chime in. Actually, Zhao Hongling's plan for Jiang Sifei was perfect. With her qualifications, most artists would only be able to play minor roles for the rest of their lives. However, she managed to make it in just 3 years. She's already very lucky. Yeah, she met a reliable manager. It's a pity that she didn't appreciate it. Now that she is famous and has found a powerful backer, she thinks that those films are lousy. She even brought her new manager to mock her. Isn't she an ingrate? Duo, who had been afraid that Lin Yan would mess things up, had never imagined that Lin Yan would say something like that. The young lass stood rooted to the ground as she gazed at Lin Yan with a complicated expression. Zhao Hongling shut her eyes slowly and sighed heavily. At first, she thought that she could accept it, understand it, and be at ease with it. Her artists could stay or leave at will, and she would never force them to stay. However, when she heard Lin Yan's words and how much effort she had put in to fight for Jiang Sifei, she couldn't help feeling a pang in her heart. Zhu Manqian, who was flustered and exasperated, yelled, "Lin Yan! It was just a slip of the tongue. What I meant was that Sifei deserves a better platform and resources." So all her previous films were trash? Lin Yan wouldn't listen to her, changing the topic. Zhu Manqian was exasperated as a sinister glint flitted across her eyes. She hissed coldly, "Lin Yan, why are you pretending to be a fighter for justice? You're the most shameless person in this industry because you want to make money and become famous. What kind of manager will have the same kind of artist? What kind of artist is Zhao Hongling's manager? Lin Yin raised an eyebrow. She had guessed that Zhu Manqian would do this. She replied calmly, Manager Zhu, you're good at changing the topic. Unfortunately, everyone knows that I'm unruly and unruly. I've always been at odds with Zhao Hongling. However, Sister Ling has always respected the contract and has never kicked me out. Chapter 111. Who would say that about themselves? The reporters couldn't help but laugh when they heard Lin Yin. It was true that Lin Yin and Zhao Hongling had been at loggerheads many times. Lin Yan's assistant, Lu Xiaoying, had even complained tearfully that Zhao Hongling had abused and beaten Lin Yin. In the end, it had been proven to be slanderous and she had almost fallen out with her management company. In the end, Zhao Hongling had stood up for Lin Yin. Besides, Lin Yan's words were too much. What did she mean by Zhao Hongling's emphasis on the contract? Wasn't she mocking Jiang Xifei for going back on her word and breaking the contract? She had signed a 5-year contract, but it had only been 3 years. Zhao Hongling had suffered a double loss and wasted 3 years of hard work. The reporters glared at Jiang Xifei and Zhu Manqian with even more disdain. Everyone had heard about House of Millions Media's aggressive attempts to poach talent. They hadn't thought much of it before, but now that they thought about it, they felt disgusted. Before Zhu Manqian could speak, Lin Yin grinned and added, Besides, according to your logic, the artist is shameless, so the manager is shameless too. If your logic is true, then Zhao Hongling is shameless. In that case, wouldn't I have the same logic? Zhao Hongling is shameless, so her artist must be shameless too. So Jiang Xifei is shameless too? You, Zhu Manqian was rendered speechless by Lin Yan's sophistry. She almost vomited blood in anger. The reporters listened intently and eagerly. They wanted to grab a stool and some melon seeds. Why hadn't they known that Lin Yan was so eloquent? Her logical thinking was amazing. She was simply an expert at quarreling. Lin Yan smiled faintly and hid her achievements. Quarrel with her? She had never lost a debate competition since she was a child. She had represented her school in the national debate competition and lived up to expectations. She had made her opponent cry. Actually, she hadn't wanted to quarrel, but there was a prize for winning a debate competition. Besides, she didn't need to use her energy. All she had to do was move her mouth. Therefore, out of all the competitions, her favorite was the debate competition. Back then, when she went abroad and joined a team, she was eager for quick success. She competed crazily to earn money, but she made several major mistakes and almost lost her life. In order for her to settle down, her master had arranged all kinds of special training for her, including physical training, wilderness survival, and training such as Go and calligraphy, which forced her to cultivate her mind and cultivate patience. Moreover, he had also urged her to be admitted into the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in M Nation to major in aerodynamics. Back in school, she was also a competition maniac. As long as there was a prize, she would go to any competition. At that time, the one she won the most was the debate competition. She had studied aerodynamics because she wanted to research the principles behind racing cars. This major was too obscure, and there were people in school who knew about her identity as a racer. If she were to reveal it, she was afraid that her identity would be exposed. Hence, she hadn't told Lin Shuya about it. She hadn't said a single word to Lin Shuya, not even when she was in danger during the competition or during the special training. She had almost lost her life so many times. Chapter 112. Jiang Xifei was no longer behaving like a goddess. She looked flustered as she blamed Zhu Manqian. How could she say something like that? If it was Zhao Hongling, she would never have made such a low-level mistake. She would not have given herself a chance to be blackmailed, and she would also be implicated. However, Jiang Xifei didn't dare to flare up at Zhu Manqian. She could only say anxiously, Sister Qian, think of something. We can't let this news get out. If this news got out, they would offend the most influential people in the entertainment industry. Lin Yan was trying to kill her. Zhu Manqian, who had never imagined that her words would cause such trouble, panicked. Her face flushed red as she bellowed, Lin Yan, don't slander me. I've already said that it was a slip of the tongue. There were so many reporters today and this matter was getting out of hand. They couldn't suppress it even if they wanted to. Duo sneered coldly and said, Manager Zhu, it's useless to tell Sister Yan that it was a slip of the tongue. Let's see if the judges and fans will believe us. Zhu Manqian gritted her teeth. You are clearly trying to sow discord. Even if you want to sow discord, you have to give us something to pick from. You said it yourself. We didn't hold a knife to your neck and force you to say it. Sister Yin asked Jiang Sifei repeatedly just now, and Jiang Sifei admitted it. While the two of them were arguing, they heard an excited scream from the entrance. The woman was surrounded by her agent and several bodyguards. She was wearing a Dior's latest fairy dress and walked in elegantly. The woman's arrival caused a commotion among the crowd. Oh my God, Xia. It's Lin Xia. Why is Lin Xia here? She didn't participate in this movie, did she? Han Yishuan did participate, but it was just a cameo. She didn't even have to take a photo. Xia is so beautiful and elegant. What kind of fairy is she? Xia, look over here. I'm your fan. No one had expected that Lin Xia, the hottest actress in the entertainment industry, would show up for an ordinary photo shoot. The reporters were so excited that they almost went crazy. All of them were screaming her name as they dashed toward her. The girl's eyebrows were like black ink, and her eyes were like limpid autumn waters, stirring people's hearts. Especially the innocence on her face, which made her as beautiful as an angel. With just a glance, one would feel a strong desire to protect him. When Lin Xia had first debuted, she had attracted a large number of fans with her angelic looks. Lin Yin raised an eyebrow at Lin Xia's sudden appearance. Suddenly, someone pressed her shoulder gently. Lin Yin replied, Sister Ling? Zhao Hongling wanted to comfort her, but she didn't know what to say. Lin Yin chuckled nonchalantly. Sister Ling, don't worry. I won't cause a scene. She would lose control and cause a ruckus, but that was because she would still feel heartache, unwillingness, and hope. But now she wouldn't. As soon as Lin Xia appeared, she became the center of attention. Producer Feng Anhua and director Jiang Yiming also personally went to welcome them. Chapter 113. Lin Xia greeted them politely. Hello, Producer Feng, Director Jiang. I hope I didn't disturb you. I'm here to visit you. Visit? Who was she visiting? Everyone had a suspicious look on their faces. Feng Anhua chimed in suspiciously, Visit? But Han Yishuan doesn't have to come today. Lin Xia smiled sweetly as she glanced at Feng Anhua. Then she turned to the reporters and explained patiently, I have officially taken over my father's subsidiary, House of Millions Media. Jiang Sifei is the artist that we are currently promoting. Meeting One's Match is Sifei's first film, so I hope that everyone can support her. Everyone was enlightened. So that was what had happened. She had come because of Jiang Sifei. Although Jiang Sifei's behavior was despicable, House of Millions Media, which had the backing of Triumph Entertainment, was much better than a small company like Star Entertainment. It was no wonder that Jiang Sifei would rather bear the brunt of the criticism and leave. A reporter seized the opportunity to ask, Miss Lin Xia, there was a conflict just now. Your manager slandered the Golden Crown Award. Do you have anything to say? Lin Xia didn't panic in the slightest. Instead, she scanned the crowd calmly and said, I've heard about what happened from my assistant. First of all, House of Millions Media's mission is to recruit talented people with potential and acting skills. Personally, I have great respect for talented artists. Hence, we sincerely invited Miss Jiang Sifei and fought hard to get the best resources for her. Lin Xia's words were ingenious. First, she had cleared House of Millions Media's name. She had obviously poached someone else's talent, but she had used the excuse of cherishing her talent. Lin Xia added, I'm very sorry. My manager was careless and caused unnecessary misunderstandings. Miss Zhao Hongling has been hurt. Lin Xia walked up to Zhao Hongling and said sincerely, I apologize on her behalf. I hope that you can forgive her. Zhao Hongling shook her head. Miss Zhao Hongling, please forgive me. Duo hadn't expected that Lin Xia would let the matter slide with just a few words. She was infuriated. You tried to poach someone from my side, but you still want to rub salt into my wound and mock me? Do you really think an apology is enough? Lin Yin watched calmly without any expression on her face. If it had been someone else doing this, perhaps it would not have been so easy to get over it with just a few words. However, Lin Xia's popularity and image in the entertainment industry were too good. As soon as she appeared, half of the reporters immediately switched sides. Furthermore, Lin Xia had lowered herself in front of everyone. Zhao Hongling had no choice but to accept her apology. However, once Zhao Hongling accepted it, the problem would be reduced to a personal grudge. Lin Yin watched Lin Xia quietly, as though this was the first time she had met this person. Hey, innocent and naive, ignorant of worldly affairs? Lin Xia's words made the reporters nod in agreement. Their eyes were filled with admiration and approval, and the anger they had felt earlier had dissipated. Lin Shuya is young, but she's humble and courteous. Chapter 114. Zhao Hongling, who understood the situation, replied in a neither servile nor overbearing manner, "Miss Lin, you're being too polite." Jiang Sifei regained her composure the moment she saw Lin Shuya. She regained her haughty expression. Zhao Hongling was merely a manager at a small company. Without her, she wouldn't even be able to retain her position as the director. Lin Yin, on the other hand, was a nobody. They actually wanted to fight with her. As long as Lin Shuya said the word, she could solve any problem. Zhu Manqian, who had been flustered earlier, straightened her back and followed Lin Shuya. She apologized perfunctorily, but there wasn't the slightest hint of guilt in her voice. "Director Zhao, I'm really sorry. Actually, I have already explained that it was a slip of the tongue." Who knew that Lin Yin would harp on my slip of the tongue? When the reporters heard Zhu Manqian, they instinctively turned to look at Lin Yin. Suddenly they were reminded of something. Lin Yin. Lin Shuya and Lin Yin. How could they have forgotten about this huge piece of gossip? A reporter with quick reflexes seized the opportunity to press on. "Shuya, Lin Yin is here today. She has repeatedly spread rumors about you and Han Yishuan. Do you have anything to say about that? Miss Lin Shuya, what do you think about Lin Yan's accusation that you're a third party?" "Yeah, Shuya. Lin Yan is shameless enough to spread rumors. Aren't you going to pursue legal action against her?" Everyone's curiosity was piqued. All eyes were on the grudge between Lin Shuya and Lin Yan. Indeed, as long as Lin Yan was around, there would be gossip. There was so much gossip today. Who would have thought that Lin Shuya would suddenly appear? Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. There was going to be a good show to watch. Lin Shuya was dressed extravagantly and elegantly, as though she was the focus of the entire world. Her eyes swept past the crowd and landed on Lin Yan. Then she flashed a faint, mocking smile. That haughty, mocking smile disappeared as soon as it met Lin Yan's eyes. Soon she regained her elegant and dignified expression. Lin Shuya looked like she wanted to say something, but she hesitated. She had a complicated expression on her face. After some time she shook her head and said, "No matter what, she's still my sister." "Sister?" As soon as Lin Shuya finished her sentence, the crowd burst into an uproar. Everyone was stunned. "Miss Lin Shuya, did you just call Lin Yan sister?" "Miss Lin Shuya, what do you mean by that? What is your relationship with Lin Yan?" Lin Shuya turned around and studied the shocked faces of the reporters. Finally she nodded and said, "Actually, Lin Yan is my biological sister. Ever since I was young, something happened to my family. My sister and I only had each other to rely on. My sister has an extreme personality, but I have always given her whatever she wants without any hesitation. However, some principles do not allow me to continue giving in." Oh my God! What kind of earth-shattering joke was this? Lin Shuya and Lin Yan were sisters. Two sisters fighting over a man. Lin Shuya held back her tears and said, "My sister will be playing the supporting role in this movie. I hope that everyone will support her. I believe that my sister isn't a bad person. Thank you, everyone. God, what kind of angel is this?" Chapter 115. They had been wondering how Lin Yan had managed to land a role in such a huge production with her trashy acting skills. Lin Shuya had helped her. Lin Yan was the real ingrate. One of them was an actress with no qualifications and no acting skills. She had acted in lousy movies and resorted to unscrupulous means to become famous. She had even created rumors to slander others. The other was a top student from the film academy. She was talented, kind, and passionate about charity. She was known as the nation's angel. Everyone believed Lin Shuya's words without a doubt. The girl's soft and sad expression aroused everyone's anger, stirring up the crowd in an instant. Lin Yan had been silent the entire time as she watched Lin Shuya's performance. The corners of Lin Shuya's mouth curled into a cold, mocking smile as she stared at Lin Yan. Then she inched closer to Lin Yan and said in a heartbroken voice, "Sister, I know that you still hate me. When I was young I gave you my toys. When I grew up I gave you my cosmetics. I was willing to give you all of them. I was even willing to work during the summer to support my sister. But love is not a one-sided thing. Even if I want to give in, I can't give in this time." When the reporters heard Lin Shuya's words, it was easy to imagine their reactions. Lin Shuya mentioned her sister in an interview. Who would have thought that Lin Yan would be Shuya's incompetent sister? All of a sudden, countless reprimanding gazes darted at Lin Yan. "Lin Yan, you're too shameless. How could you covet your own sister's man? Yeah. You hurt Shuya just because she's kind and kind. If you can't get her, you slander her. Oh my God. How could there be such a vicious sister in this world? She has tarnished the entertainment industry. She even claimed on Weibo that she was the founder of Angel's Shelter. Not only did she snatch Shuya's boyfriend, but she also snatched Shuya's charity. Why does she like to snatch other people's things? Amidst the angry criticism, Lin Shuya suddenly whispered into her ear. She lowered her voice and whispered in Lin Yan's ear, Lin Yan, I've always been more outstanding than you since we were young. I've always done better than you. However, your life has always been so good. You merely relied on luck to surpass me in the past. Now, I'm going to show you exactly what you're made of. Right now in my eyes you're even smaller than an ant. You don't even have the qualifications to kneel down and wipe my shoes for me. In this lifetime you're only fit to look up to me. Do you understand? The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled upwards when she heard Lin Shuya. She didn't expect that after so many years of sisterly love, the sister she had risked her life to protect, would actually harbor such thoughts from the beginning. This time she wasn't hysterical, nor was she bristling with anger. On the contrary, there was a sense of relief in her heart as if the dust had settled. Finally, the last bit of reluctance in his heart completely disappeared. Lin Shuya chuckled softly. Sister, stop struggling. In this world no one knows you better than I do. Your flaws, everything about you, are all within my grasp. You are just a good-for-nothing trash. Lin Yan raised her eyes and scanned Lin Shuya's face lazily. Her gaze was suffocating and intimidating. Lin Shuya, do you really think that you know me that well? When I see you as my kin, I naturally have a body full of flaws. Chapter 116. Lin Shuya's eyes roamed over Lin Yan, looking cold and arrogant. It was as though she was sizing up the weak ant in front of her. In the past, Lin Yan had merely been lucky. She had been able to look down on her and even snatch the man she liked away. However, her luck had run out now. Whether it was the Lin family, brother Yixuan, or everything that belonged to her, she would take it back. As for Lin Yan, she was a good-for-nothing. She wasn't even fit to carry her shoes. Sister, if you need anything you can tell me. Lin Shuya stood before the reporters and told Lin Yan, no matter what, you're still my sister. No matter what you did in the past, blood is thicker than water. You can't sever that bond. After Lin Shuya finished speaking, the reporters started to speak up for her. Shuya, you're too kind. She doesn't deserve to be your sister. I've seen too many people like her throughout my years in the media industry. She doesn't have a bottom line at all. A bespectacled reporter hissed at Lin Yan. Everyone present agreed with the reporter's words. A female reporter in a red dress glanced at Lin Yan in disgust and chimed in, after all, some people don't deserve to be called humans. As long as they can achieve their goals, they will resort to any means necessary. They will make use of anyone around them. What's the big deal about blood relations? Everyone, please don't say that. Sister must have been muddle-headed. Lin Shuya frowned slightly. She sounded sad and forbearing at the same time. Miss Shuya, reporter's son is right. You're too kind. Lin Yan is shamelessly taking advantage of your kindness. If you don't know how to protect yourself, you will suffer in the future. The female reporter in the red dress spoke solemnly. Zhao Hongling looked at the group of reporters silently. She frowned slightly. At this time she wisely chose to remain silent. Zhao Hongling understood Lin Yan well. She had already sensed that there was something wrong with Lin Shuya. However, due to their relationship, Zhao Hongling hadn't said anything. Now, it seemed like there was something wrong with Lin Shuya. In fact, there was a huge problem. However, the situation was different now. Lin Shuya had the final say, so everyone chose to believe her. If she tried to explain to Lin Yan now, she might end up with the opposite effect. Lin Yan, you're really shameless. You went abroad to have fun, yet you made Shuya work in the heat for the summer. Are you even human? Shuya is so unlucky to have a sister like you. The reporter glared at Lin Yan, her eyes filled with disgust and disdain. Lin Yan adjusted her cap and grinned at the reporter. What happened? Did you leave your brain behind when you left home? What did you say? Hearing this, the bespectacled reporter scolded, You've flown into a rage out of humiliation and are starting to make personal attacks. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up, but she didn't flare up. Instead, she smiled mildly and replied, I'm just reminding you out of goodwill. As a reporter, you should believe whatever others say. You didn't investigate or collect any evidence. Do you think you're out of your mind? Chapter 117. Then Lin Yan added, Oh yeah, I just recalled that a few months ago a female teacher was wrongly accused. She jumped off a building to prove her innocence. That was all because some reporters believed in other people's words and wrote nonsense online, right? The reporter's expression changed when she heard Lin Yen. When Duo heard this, he hurriedly said, "Ah, I know about this news as well." It caused quite a commotion at the time. A few months ago, a female teacher was accused by a parent of abusing and beating her child for a long period of time. In the end, some unscrupulous reporters attacked the teacher online for the sake of generating more news without any evidence. As a result, the matter escalated. Many netizens read the unscrupulous reporter's article, which resulted in the teacher's Weibo account being destroyed. They dug up all the information about the teacher and even went to the school. Lin Yen replied slowly, "This article hurt the teacher so much that she wanted to prove her innocence." In a fit of rage, she jumped off the building. About 2 months ago, the truth was revealed. The teacher had never hit the child. Lin Yen grinned at the female reporter in the red dress and glanced at her badge. "If I remember correctly, you were the one who wrote that article. Reporter Li Yun? You didn't forget to bring your brain with you. You don't have a brain at all. I'm really curious. Are you going to find the next victim?" Duo glanced at Lin Yen in surprise. Most people would only remember the content of the article. Who would have thought that Lin Yen would remember the person who had published the article? You. The reporter glared at Lin Yen, her body trembling with rage. She had almost lost her job because of this incident. Now that the matter had passed, she had never expected that Lin Yen would mention it again. "Me? What about me? Are you going to fly into a rage because I told you the truth? Although you weren't the murderer, you did indirectly kill her." Lin Yen chuckled softly. "Lin Yen, don't try to change the topic. This has nothing to do with you." The bespectacled reporter hissed coldly. A second later, Lin Yan's eyes landed on him. She sized him up and nodded. "Reporter from Xing Yun Entertainment Weekly? You seem to agree with what she did." "Nonsense, I didn't," the bespectacled reporter said angrily. "That's strange. Even though you don't agree with her, both of you have the same way of doing things. You said that Lin Shuya braved the heat to work during the summer so that I could have fun abroad. Did you see that?" Lin Yan grinned. His words rendered the bespectacled reporter speechless. "Or do you have enough evidence? For example, do you have records of Lin Shuya transferring money to me? If you do, show it to me. What are you waiting for?" Lin Yan pressed on. "Lin Yan, Lin Shuya is your biological sister. How could she spout nonsense?" The bespectacled reporter snorted coldly. "I think you're clearly avoiding the important and dwelling on the trivial. You're not willing to admit it." Lin Yan grinned. "According to your logic, I'm Lin Shuya's biological sister. Therefore, the younger sister wouldn't spout nonsense. So the older sister would be the one spouting nonsense?" Chapter 118. At this time, a reporter passed a microphone to Jiang Yiming. "Director Jiang, what do you think of Lin Yan's acting?" Lin Yan said that she got the role because of her acting skills. "Is that true?" "Director Jiang, you should be aware of Shuya's relationship with Lin Yan. That's why you gave the role to Lin Yan on account of Shuya." Jiang Yiming's face darkened in the face of the reporter's questions. He wanted to clarify for Lin Yan, but Summit Entertainment was involved in Zhou Feng's case, so he couldn't let the reporters know about it. In the end, Jiang Yiming could only remain silent and not say a word. Lin Shuya's lips curled into a smile as though she had expected this. She knew Lin Yan too well. Her acting skills were terrible. She must have been lucky. After Zhou Feng had been reported, Jiang Yiming had been afraid that she would spread rumors. Hence, he had given the role to her. The reporters took Jiang Yiming's silence as a tacit agreement. Hence, they got excited. Even Director Jiang has admitted it. How could she lie like that? She is indeed shameless. Lin Yan, what else do you have to say? Lin Yan, who knew why Jiang Yiming couldn't speak, shrugged. There's nothing much to say. My acting skills will speak for itself. When the movie is released, everyone will know how good I am. I also hope that when the time comes, all of you who slandered me for no reason will apologize to me one by one. The reporters stared at Lin Yan as though she was a lunatic. Apologize to her? She must be crazy. I think she's a dead pig who doesn't fear boiling water. She won't repent until she sees her coffin. Apologize. When I see her, I'm afraid that she will weep and apologize to all the fans who caused a commotion. Reporter Sun, who was amused, replied sarcastically, "Sure. If you can prove your acting skills, I will kneel down and apologize to you." "Ah. Me too. Me too." Reporter Sun's words elicited another round of laughter from the crowd. Lin Yen scanned the cameras and nodded in satisfaction. With so many people watching, no one would be able to escape. At the end of the interview, the reporters left one after another, and the studio finally quieted down. Lin Shuya chatted with Jiang Sifei for a while before leaving. Before he left, he gazed at Lin Yen arrogantly. "Goodbye, sister." The moment Lin Shuya left, Jiang Sifei glanced at Zhao Hongling deliberately and told Zhu Manqian, "I thought that Zhao Hongling was a smart person. I didn't expect her to be so stupid as to rely on this piece of trash to make a comeback. I've said it before. Zhao Hongling is completely relying on you to suck your blood. You might not know this, but Zhao Hongling made a bet with the other managers. She promised that she would help Lin Yen achieve top sales within 3 months. Otherwise, she would resign from her position. Are you serious? She must be crazy." The two of them continued chatting until a staff member came over to invite Jiang Sifei in to change. Jiang Sifei then left in her high heels, swaying her hips arrogantly. Duo looked as though she was about to cry. "Sister Yen, you said that in front of so many reporters. How are you going to clean up this mess?" She had behaved this way at the company, and now she was doing it again in front of the reporters. Lin Yen blinked innocently. "How am I going to clean up this mess? Why are you asking me? That's what the reporters should be thinking about." Duo was speechless. Chapter 119. Soon all the staff members crowded around Jiang Sifei. Soon only Lin Yen, Zhao Hongling and Duo were left in the waiting room. No one paid them any attention. Everyone crowded around Jiang Sifei. Jiang Sifei looked as though she was filming a fashion blockbuster as she changed into different outfits. The crew members were all praising her as they stood by her side. In the blink of an eye it was noon. Lin Yen had been waiting for almost 3 hours. Zhao Hongling glanced at the time on her phone with a frown. She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to take the photo today. Lin Yen and Jiang Sifei's photo shoot was scheduled for the morning. There were other artists to take the photo in the afternoon. If Jiang Sifei took too long, Lin Yen wouldn't be able to take the rest of the photos. Duo watched Lin Yen warily, worried that she would get impatient and cause a ruckus. In the end, she realized that she was completely engrossed in the game. Duo was speechless. "Sister Ling, thank goodness you asked her to play more games." Actually, her manager and artist didn't know that Lin Yen was obsessed with making money. She had given it some thought. This game was quite popular, so she might as well go back to her old profession. She could use her free time to earn some pocket money. Playing games and making money at the same time. Wouldn't that be great? Therefore, while she was leveling her account, she had secretly posted a substitute leveling post on the game forum. Then she was waiting for a potential customer to come knocking. "Sister Ling, I'll go and ask when it's our turn." "Okay." Duo left to look for the staff. The coordinator was beaming as she spoke to Zhu Manqian. "Sister Qian, Sifei has a great figure. She looks great in everything. She looks so classy. Hi, may I know when Lin Yen can start?" asked Duo. The coordinator turned around impatiently when she was interrupted. "Why are you in such a hurry? The female lead hasn't even started yet. Why is she rushing us?" Duo sounded anxious. No matter how much she hated Lin Yen, she had to fight for her artist. But she has already spent hours trying on her clothes and makeup. Sister Yen doesn't have much time left. High-level photographers like her had a full schedule, so they wouldn't have a chance to reshoot. Jiang Sifei was clearly trying to stop Lin Yen from doing her photo shoot. If she couldn't take the photos, she wouldn't be part of the publicity campaign. Jiang Sifei, who was leisurely choosing her clothes, glanced at Duo with a faint smile. "Duo, are you Lin Yan's assistant now? So what if I am?" Plenty snapped. In the past, she had been in charge of Jiang Sifei. She had even been at Jiang Sifei's beck and call. Who knew that Jiang Sifei would be so heartless? Jiang Sifei, who was wearing a gorgeous gown, spoke in a condescending tone. "Since we are so familiar with each other, I'm not used to having a new assistant. I think you are quite good at taking care of people. Why don't you come over and work for me? I will pay you double your salary. In other words, if you serve me well, I'll give you money to continue serving me." Duo nearly exploded in anger when she heard that. It was one thing for him to leave, but he actually wanted to poach her as well. After listening to the driver's words, Zhao Hongling's face darkened. "There are a lot of fans waiting outside and in the parking lot," Zhao Hongling said. Duo scrolled through the news and Weibo. Indeed, the video has been uploaded by the media. The location of the filming location has also been leaked. A lot of fans are rushing over. Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she said, Sister Ling, the fans don't know you in duo. Why don't we split up? You guys go first. I'll think of something. Zhao Hongling rejected her suggestion immediately. No way. Lin Yan was still talking when a few people appeared at the end of the corridor. They were her assistant and bodyguard. The man in the middle was tall and slender. He was wearing a retro gray suit, and his perfect features looked as though they had been sculpted by God. The man's eyes were gentle, and the corners of his mouth were curved in a gentle smile. He looked like a spring breeze. Chapter 121. She had just freeloaded off Lin Yan's popularity, yet she had bumped into her in person. This was too awkward. Duo felt like crying. Lin Yan's enemies were everywhere. She could bump into them just by walking a few steps. Moreover, they had collided with each other. Mr. Pei. Zhao Hongling remained composed as she nodded politely to greet him. Anyone would be unhappy about what Lin Yan had done. However, given Pei Nanshu's status, he wouldn't hold it against Lin Yan over such a trivial matter. The last time she had spoken to him, he had been rather friendly. She led Duo and Lin Yan to a corner. As Pei Nanshu approached them, Duo tugged at Lin Yan's arm and hid in a corner. However, as they lowered their gazes, Pei Nanshu's long legs suddenly froze. Then he turned around and stood still in front of them. Then Toto heard a seductive voice in his ears. Miss Lin. It was Pei Nanshu's voice. Pei Nanshu had actually taken the initiative to talk to Lin Yan. Duo instinctively raised her head in shock. Although this wasn't the first time Lin Yan had interacted with Pei Nanshu, she had been his fan for many years. Thus, she couldn't help but feel nervous and excited when she saw him. She was taken aback when Pei Nanshu took the initiative to talk to her. She replied nervously, Hi. Senior? Pei Nanshu chuckled helplessly. Miss Lin, if it's possible, please change the way you address me. I'm afraid I don't deserve to be called a senior. That wasn't right. Lin Yan muttered, just call me Nanshu. Pei Nanshu grinned. Lin Yan shook her head vigorously. This isn't appropriate. She didn't deserve to be called Nanshu. What would happen if someone overheard this? Pei Nanshu didn't force her. He took a shopping bag from his assistant and handed it to Lin Yan. Miss Lin, there are fans outside. It's hard for you to leave. Change into this and I'll take you out. Lin Yan was speechless. Duo was stunned by their conversation. To be precise, she was stunned by Pei Nanshu's attitude toward Lin Yan. She had thought that Mr. Pei was here to punish her, but it seemed like that wasn't the case at all. Not only had he asked Lin Yan to call him by his name, but he had also come all the way here to help her. He had even prepared clothes for her. Could it be? Could it be that Mr. Pei was also? This was too unbelievable. As a loyal fan of Pei Qian, Duo felt as though the world was falling apart. Duo couldn't help but whisper to Lin Yan. Sister Yan. Why is Mr. Pei treating you so well? He's even helping you. What's your relationship with him? Lin Yan felt rather flattered. Anyway, it's not what you're thinking. It's already like this. If it's not that kind of relationship, what else could it be? Although she didn't want to think about it that way, Pei Nanshu's attitude made it hard for her to not think about it. Lin Yan replied helplessly, What are you thinking? Do you think that Pei Nanshu would be so blind as to fall for me? Duo shook her head and replied resolutely, No. Lin Yan replied, Isn't that obvious? Pei Nanshu wasn't blind. Chapter 122. Duo and Zhao Hongling couldn't refute Lin Yan's words. After all, there was no way that Pei Nanshu would like Lin Yan. In terms of status in the entertainment industry, Pei Nanshu had reached the pinnacle of his acting career. He was undoubtedly one of the top celebrities in the entertainment industry, and he was one of the shareholders of Summit Entertainment. In terms of family background, he was the second young master of the Pei family, the most prestigious family in the capital city. His mother's family background was unfathomable, and his brother was a legendary figure in the business world. He was the CEO of JM Corporation, Pei Yuqing. Pei Yuqing was a legend in the business world, and the sensation he had created in the entertainment industry was unprecedented. Although Pei Yuqing wasn't part of the entertainment industry, he was as popular as any celebrity. There had been many husbands in the entertainment industry, but Pei Yuqing's status had never wavered. The first time Pei Yuqing's photo had been exposed was when the paparazzi had chased Pei Nanshu and accidentally captured him. Just the silhouette of a bespectacled man leaning against a silver sports car had made all the male celebrities in the entertainment industry think that he had been cuckolded overnight. Countless female fans and thousands of fangirls had joined the JM Corporation's official Weibo account to gain tens of millions of fans. Even the financial channel's views had skyrocketed. Pei Nanshu had often joked that they were fans of his because they wanted him to post photos of his brother. The rumor that Pei Yuqing was critically ill had caused quite a stir in the entertainment industry. Many female fans had cried and prayed for him. At the same time, they had kept the photo of Pei Yuqing in his hospital bed as though it was a priceless treasure. They had even licked his face countless times. One could imagine that even if Pei Nanshu, Shen Qiaomu, Wei Shufeng, Tang Jieya and Han Yishuan were added together, they wouldn't have as many fans as Pei Yuqing. After all, he was the man who had made the entire entertainment industry a cuckold. How could a man like Pei Nanshu, who had a powerful family background and a high social status, fall in love with an insignificant artist like Lin Yan? Duo believed Lin Yan's words and her tone softened. Then why did Mr. Pei help you? Lin Yan looked conflicted. Pei Nanshu had helped her because of Pei Yuqing. But what could she say? She had said that Pei Nanshu's brother was her current boyfriend, and that was why Pei Nanshu was helping her? Lin Yan was well aware of Pei Yuqing's influence. She couldn't imagine what would happen to her if his fans found out what she had done to him. Hence, she would never let anyone know about her relationship with Pei Yuqing. But how were they going to disassociate themselves from Pei Nanshu? However, saying that they were friends was ambiguous and unconvincing. Furthermore, she didn't really want to lie to Sister Ling. It was too difficult. Oh my God, it was so hard for her. Hence, she had no choice but to rack her brains and search for the right words. If I had to describe our relationship, I would say that we are relatives. In terms of relationship and seniority, wasn't her boyfriend's younger brother her brother-in-law? Chapter 123. Duo was exasperated. She didn't believe her explanation. One of you has the Lin surname and the other has the Pei surname. How could you be related? Lin Yan replied matter-of-factly, can't we be related just because we have different surnames? Of course you can. But I've never heard you mention this before. If that was the case, given Lin Yan's personality, she would have made a big fuss about it. Hence, there was a high chance that something was amiss. Duo glanced at Zhao Hongling suspiciously. It was obvious that Zhao Hongling didn't know about this either. However, she could tell that Lin Yan had something to hide, so she didn't probe further. Lin Yan replied casually, because we are distant relatives, it's normal that you don't know about it. Mr. Pei is a nice person, so he helped me. Actually, there was nothing wrong with that. She could break up with Pei Yuqing at any time, so she wouldn't have anything to do with Pei Nanshu then. Duo was shocked. You have such a relationship with Mr. Pei? That's amazing. Even if they were distant relatives, it was still very shocking. Lin Yan pursed her lips. Is it amazing? What was so amazing about that? What was there to make a fuss about? She was Pei Nanshu's third brother, Pei Yutong. Pei Nanshu didn't rush Lin Yan as she whispered to Duo. Instead, he stood there patiently and waited. In the end, Duo and Zhao Hongling retreated to make it easier for him to talk to Lin Yan. There's a bathroom at the end of the corridor. You can change there, said Pei Nanshu. Lin Yan was hesitant. She was fearful of Pei Nanshu's help. After all, her relationship with Pei Yuqing was complicated, and she couldn't control it at all. If it wasn't necessary, she didn't want to have anything to do with Pei Yuqing. After all, her life was more important. Besides, she was going to get into Pei Nanshu's car in broad daylight under the watchful eyes of his fans. Wasn't that a little too exciting? Lin Yan had no choice but to reject him. Thank you for your help, Mr. Pei. However, I think it's too risky. If the fans catch us, we won't be able to explain ourselves. I don't mind, but I can't allow your reputation to be tarnished. How about this? I'll accept these clothes and I'll think of a way to leave later. Lin Yan's explanation was flawless. She felt that Pei Nanshu wouldn't say anything since she had already said so much. Pei Nanshu glanced at her meaningfully and whispered softly, but my brother is waiting for you in the car. Lin Yan was speechless. Big Boss was waiting for her in the car? How could she not go? You should have said so earlier. If he had told her earlier, she wouldn't have had to struggle so hard. Lin Yan was almost in tears when she said, all right then. Please wait for a moment. I'll go and change now. Pei Nanshu chuckled. Okay, there's no hurry. I'll wait for you. Pei Nanshu's eyes flickered with suspicion as he watched the girl run to the bathroom with the clothes in her arms. Why did he feel that this girl didn't treat his brother like a lover? Chapter 124. Lin Yin had changed into the same outfit as Pei Nanshu's assistant. Director Zhao, don't worry. I will send Miss Lin back safely, replied Pei Nanshu. Zhao Hongling thanked him politely. I'll leave it to you then. After Lin Yin left with Pei Nanshu, Duo couldn't help but mutter, Sister Ling, do you believe what Lin Yin said? Is she really a distant relative of Mr. Pei? Lin Yin seems to have always liked Mr. Pei. I remember that even her WeChat profile picture and nickname are Mr. Pei's. Zhao Hongling shook her head. I can't be sure. At least it's not a romantic relationship. Lin Yin was indeed infatuated with Pei Nanshu. However, judging from the way they had interacted earlier, there wasn't anything amiss between them. Duo mulled it over. Actually, Lin Yan's words make sense. Mr. Pei might just be doing her a favor. Pei Nanshu led Lin Yin and a bodyguard from the VIP entrance to the underground parking lot. As expected, there was a crowd of fans surrounding the parking lot. When the fans saw Pei Nanshu, they shrieked and screamed. Lin Yin, who was wearing a mask, tried to maintain her composure as she followed Pei Nanshu. Instinctively, Pei Nanshu wanted to open the car door for Lin Yin. However, Lin Yin was pretending to be Pei Nanshu's assistant, so how could she let him open the door for her? Lin Yin, who was filled with a strong will to survive, rushed forward and opened the door for Pei Nanshu. Then she got into the car from the other side. The bodyguards got into the car behind them and followed them. Brother, I got her, Pei Nanshu said after they got into the car. Pei Yuqing replied, yeah. Pei Yuqing was already seated in the back seat of the car. The man was holding a stack of documents in his hands and wearing a suit. The lighting in the car was dim, but just the side profile of his face was enough to make one's heart race. There was no blind spot on his face at all. Pei Yuqing looked as though he had just returned from a formal event. Unlike his usual casual attire, his suit and tie were neat and tidy, and he was wearing buccellati cufflinks that looked inconspicuous but were so expensive that they left one speechless. He wore a pair of gold-rimmed glasses, and his white shirt was buttoned up to the first button on his collar. This was the first time Lin Yin had seen him in a suit. Her heart almost stopped when she saw him. It was no wonder that a blurry photo could make those women go crazy. At this moment, this man was sitting right in front of her, alive and well. The back seat was spacious, so Pei Nanshu sat opposite her. Lin Yin had no choice but to sit beside him. However, Lin Yin was sitting next to the window, so there was at least one seat between them. Mr. Pei? Lin Yin greeted him cautiously. Pei Yuqing raised his head, revealing a pair of dark eyes behind his glasses. Miss Lin. His deep, husky voice was like a cello that resonated in the confined space of the car. For some reason, Lin Yin felt that she couldn't control herself when he called her Miss Lin. Oh, what happened to giving up on the beauty and getting rich overnight? When Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva was cultivating in the depths of the Prajnaparamita, he saw that the 5 skandhas were empty and passed through all sufferings. Sarira, form is not different from emptiness, and emptiness is not different from form. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. The same goes for perception, action, and consciousness. Chapter 125. Lin Yin was startled by Pei Yutong's sudden appearance. F***C. Third young master. Why are you here? It's the weekend, so I don't have class. I'm here to be my brother's chauffeur. Pei Yutong grinned, revealing his cute canine teeth. It seemed like he was trying his best to behave after his mistake. Yutong, we can't stay here for long. Let's get out of here first, Pei Nanshu reminded him. All right. Pei Yutong started the engine. Lin Yin pressed her legs together and sat obediently like an elementary school student. The car drove out of the parking lot. Once outside, it was even more spectacular. It was a dense mass of fans. Some were holding signs while others were holding banners. Lin Yin had read the news earlier. Her relationship with Lin Shuya had been exposed, and there was a storm of criticism online. It was even louder than before. Most of the people outside were Lin Shuya's fans. Many of them were Han Yishuan's fans as well. Coupled with the fans of other male celebrities, it was a spectacular sight to behold. For example, there was a banner that read, Lin Yin, get out of the entertainment industry, with the name Feng Chade behind it. They were Tang Jiye's fans. Lin Yin and dogs can't get close to her brother, with the name Coconut Candy behind it. They were obviously Tang Jiye's fans. There was also a banner that read, Lin Yin is a B***TCH who deserves to be struck by lightning, with the name Yi Ren behind it. They were definitely Han Yishuan's fans. Pei Yutong gasped in amazement as he drove. Big sister-in-law, you're awesome. You have so many rumored boyfriends. Lin Yan's face darkened when she heard him. Why did you mention my rumored boyfriends in front of your big brother and my current boyfriend? Did you want me to die? Pei Yutong realized that he had said something wrong. To ease the awkwardness, he hurriedly turned on the radio. Ahem. Let's listen to some music. Let me play some music. The end of the song ended on the channel, and then the entertainment news began to play. The female reporter said, "Today we are going to talk about the female celebrity with the most rumored boyfriends." Lin Yan was speechless. She had a bad feeling about this. The female reporter said, "I don't think I have to say it. Everyone knows." She was the actress who had just been revealed to be Lin Xia's biological sister. According to incomplete statistics, her rumored boyfriends include Han Yixuan, Shen Chaomu, Tang Jiaya, Wei Shufeng. Pei Yutong. Pei Yuqing was speechless. Lin Yan was speechless. Every time a name was announced, Lin Yan felt as though her image had crumbled. By the end, her face was as white as a sheet. The scene of an overturned car was nothing more than this. Lin Yan's body stiffened as she turned to peek at Pei Yuqing's reaction. The latter still maintained the posture of supporting his forehead, his gaze indifferently looking at the crazy fans outside the window. It was impossible to see through the emotions in his eyes behind the lenses. The calmer he looked, the more terrified Lin Yan became. Pei Yutong was dumbfounded as well. He hadn't expected to hear gossip about his sister-in-law on the radio. Thus, Pei Yutong changed the channel in a fluster. After changing the channel, the broadcast was, "Recently Lin Yan has been rumored to be with a famous actor, Pei Nanshu." Nanshu was speechless. Lin Yan was speechless. Chapter 126. This time it was about big sister-in-law and second brother. Pei Yutong's hair stood on end. Lin Yan and Pei Nanshu's eyes darted to Pei Yutong's sinful pause. Pei Yutong, who was still in a daze, hurriedly switched off the radio when he sensed their gazes. After he switched off the radio, the car fell into a deathly silence. His big brother, who had cheated on the entire entertainment industry, had actually been cheated on one day? Pei Yutong shuddered as he curled up in front. He was as quiet as a chicken, not daring to breathe loudly. Why did I have to be in the car? I should have been under the car. Lin Yan was the most pitiful one. She even felt like killing herself. However, at this moment, a crazy idea popped up in her mind. Should she take this opportunity to break up with Pei Yuqing? Lin Yan crept closer to the front seat and whispered to Pei Yutong, "Third young master, what would happen if your brother discovered that his girlfriend had cheated on him?" Pei Yutong sounded like he was about to cry. "How would I know? My brother has never been cheated on before. He is usually the one who cheated on others." Lin Yan replied, "Just guess." Pei Yutong replied, "Guess? That would probably mean the end of the world." Lin Yan asked, That's scary?" Pei Yutong quipped, "That's why I said that you don't know my brother at all. If you knew what my brother used to be like, you would have fled thousands of miles away." Lin Yan was speechless. In the end, Lin Yan gave up on this idea. She should choose a safer way to break up with him. Why should she take things so hard? Besides, she wasn't sure about her physical condition. She could lose control at any time and do something to Pei Yuqing. She needed the identity of his girlfriend to protect her life. Then, she glanced at Pei Yuqing cautiously and explained, "Mr. Pei, you might not know much about the entertainment industry. Actually, the entertainment news has always been nonsense. I don't have to remind you about Mr. Pei. After all, he's your biological brother, so he's as noble as you are. He's a helpful person. Those people are just using their dirty thoughts to make wild guesses. As for the other people, that's nonsense. It's impossible." Lin Yan said righteously, "I'm not blind. Why would I like them? I have very high standards, okay? And that Han Yixuan is my ex-boyfriend, but he's just a scumbag. It's even more impossible for me to have anything to do with him. People say that people can't forget their ex because their new lover isn't good enough, so I definitely don't exist. My boyfriend instantly killed more than 10 of his Milky Way." Nanshu was speechless. Pei Yutong, "That's amazing, Dad." Not only did he explain the misunderstanding, but he also praised his big brother to death in every sentence. Pei Yutong was full of admiration for him. "Eldest sister-in-law, where did you learn your flattery skills? Can you teach me?" Pei Yutong asked sincerely. Lin Yan glared at him. "Nonsense. What kind of flattery is that? I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart." Pei Yutong replied, Yes, Dad, whatever you say is right." Lin Yan had been talking for a long time, but Pei Yuqing remained silent. His expression was hidden in the shadows. She didn't know what Pei Yuqing's attitude was either, so she swallowed her saliva and pressed on. Anyway, Mr. Pei, these are all rumors. I have nothing to do with them. I know that President Pei is a busy man, so you wouldn't be bothered by such trivial matters. However, to avoid any unnecessary misunderstandings, I think it's better for me to explain. Pei Yuqing put down the document in his hand and stretched out his slender fingers to tug at his tie. In an instant he looked more casual and unruly than before. The man propped his forehead on his hand and glanced at the girl beside him. Miss Lin, you flatter me. I don't deserve such flattery. Lin Yan asked, huh? Lin Yan couldn't figure out what Pei Yuqing was talking about. Pei Yuqing studied the flustered and confused girl and said in a low, hoarse voice, I will be jealous. Chapter 127. Lin Yan coughed and coughed. At that moment, Lin Yan felt as though she was a boiling kettle. She hadn't expected Pei Yuqing to say that he would be jealous. He wasn't angry or blaming her. He merely told her that he would be jealous when he heard that she had an affair with another man. Lin Yan felt as though she was about to die. Mommy, I think I'm in love. I'm going to lose all my money. Pei Yutong, who was single, was speechless. Pei Nanshu, who was also single, was speechless. Why did he feel as though he was shining? He had thought that the end of the world had come. Who would have thought that he would be showered with dog food? Pei Nanshu coughed softly and said, Brother, you know that most of the gossip is just to attract attention. It's not reliable. Lin Yan fell silent as though she had thought of something. After some time, she raised her head hesitantly and glanced at the man beside her. Mr. Pei, you should know that I'm being disliked by everyone on the internet. I have no morals and no acting skills. Not only did I hurt my sister, but I also have a bunch of rumored boyfriends. Everyone is scolding me. Don't you mind? She didn't believe that Pei Yuqing wouldn't be able to find out her background. Hence, she had always been curious as to why Pei Yuqing had agreed to let her be his girlfriend so easily. Even if he hadn't known at the time, he would have found out later on. After all, even Pei Yutong knew about it. Because there were too many illogical things, she hadn't felt that it was real. Even Pei Yutong, who was driving, pricked up his ears when he heard Lin Yan's question. He was curious too. When he had heard the news from second brother, he had wanted to know what big brother was thinking. Lin Yan noticed that the man's eyes seemed to have turned cold. Then he replied, I do mind. This was an answer that she had expected, but for some reason Lin Yan's heart still skipped a beat. She was just about to say something when the man added, Do you need my help to deal with them? Of course he would mind those people who scolded her. Lin Yan was speechless, Pei Yutong was speechless. Pei Nanshu was speechless. Lin Yan coughed violently again. No. It's fine. Why didn't President Pei play by the rules? Her life wasn't enough for him to flirt with. How could he help her get rid of someone else indiscriminately? However, she couldn't help but be moved by his unconditional trust. She was used to everyone not believing in her, but this man had never doubted her. Lin Yan waved her hands frantically. It's just a small problem. I can solve it myself. Pei Yutong struggled to digest the second round of public display of affection. Big sister-in-law, you're too low profile. I've read some gossip about Lin Shuya's connections in the entertainment industry. Come on, no matter how powerful he is, can he be more powerful than sister-in-law? Sister-in-law, you're obviously the one with the best connections in the entertainment industry. Why don't you just bring my big brother out? Lin Yan was speechless. If she did, she would be torn to pieces. Besides, it would affect Pei Yuqing. Her biggest problem now was not being suppressed, but the dirty water splashed on her. Although she was mocking herself just now, who would be blind to fall for her? Chapter 128. Lin Yan shook her head and pursed her lips. Forget it then. What if they scold your brother for being blind? Let's talk about it after I succeed. Pei Yutong stole a glance at his brother through the rearview mirror. He was certain that big brother really liked Lin Yan. Hence, Pei Yutong replied, What's wrong with that? Big brother wouldn't care. Lin Yan blurted out without hesitation, That won't do. Your brother doesn't care, but I do. Your brother is the best and the most perfect. That's why his girlfriend has to be the best. Silence reigned once more in the car. Pei Yuqing's eyes seemed to ripple unnoticeably. Pei Yutong's tears streamed down his cheeks as he drove. Big sister-in-law, please do me a favor. My second brother and I are still single. Pei Nanshu coughed softly and chuckled helplessly. Lin Yan's cheeks heated up uncontrollably. She had actually blurted out those words unconsciously. When she said them out loud, even she herself was shocked. *CK. Was she too immersed in her role? She couldn't tell if she had said those words to coax Pei Yuqing or if she had meant it. Lin Yan coughed softly. Anyway, thank you for your trust, Mr. Pei. Don't worry, I will handle this myself. The man's eyes regained their usual composure as he said, okay. As the three of them conversed, the car drove through the crowd of fans. Lin Yan glanced out of the window with lingering fear in her heart. Who would have thought that she would be sitting in this car with Pei Nanshu, Pei Yutong, and Pei Yuqing? Lin Yan told Pei Yutong her address and the car stopped at the entrance of the apartment building. Pei Yuqing got out of the car and walked Lin Yan in. They didn't say a word along the way and soon they arrived at the apartment building. Lin Yan, who had always been emotionless, felt helpless as she stood before the man. Ahem. Mr. Pei, thank you for coming to pick me up today. You're welcome. It's my duty. Pei Yuqing's tone was distant as he lit a cigarette. Looking at the man's expression, he seemed to be a little absent-minded, and his mood seemed to be a little irritated. Perhaps he was thinking about work? He must have wasted a lot of time coming over to pick her up, Lin Yan hastily replied. If there's nothing else, I'll head up first. Pei Yuqing replied, okay. Hence, Lin Yan prepared to leave. Miss Lin. However, she had only taken a few steps when she heard the man's voice behind her. Lin Yan instinctively turned around. Why? Before she could ask what was going on, the man extinguished the cigarette in his hand and suddenly walked towards her. What followed was a slightly cold kiss, accompanied by a forest's fresh scent, mixed with a faint smell of tobacco, lightly landing on the corner of her lips. Lin Yan was as stiff as a rock as she stared blankly at the man who had suddenly kissed her. The man stared at her, his deep eyes filled with her reflection. Seeing the girl staring at him blankly, the irritation in the man's eyes deepened, as if he was dissatisfied with himself for losing control. Chapter 129. Good night? What good night? She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. Lin Yan had always thought that Pei Yuqing was the kind of person who would treat her with respect, even if they were married. However, the truth had proven otherwise. Whether it was the way he addressed her or the way he interacted with her, he maintained a distance that was only slightly more than that of a stranger. However, when it came to flirting with her, he didn't hesitate at all. She felt her heart skip a beat every time, but she couldn't say anything. After all, given their current relationship, there was nothing wrong with Pei Yuqing's actions. After she returned home, she lay in bed for a long time before her heartbeat returned to normal. Before she slept, she didn't forget to update her Weibo account. It had been a few days since she registered her new account. She would post something every day. If she didn't have anything special to post, she would post the same thing. For example, the post she had just posted, the only way to solve his worries was to get rich. Did I get rich today? No, today Lin Shuya had been interviewed by the reporters and they had revealed their sisterly relationship. Many people had been staring at Lin Yan's Weibo account, waiting for her to post something. Who would have thought that she would post something like this after waiting for a whole day? Damn it. Other than getting rich, why didn't this woman have anything else to post? Why did she have to post the same thing every day? Lin Yan didn't read the comments. Instead, she flipped through some books and went to bed. The next day, Lin Yan didn't need to film. She didn't have any other work to do, so Zhao Hongling gave her some free time. She was only a supporting actress in Meeting One's Match, so she didn't have many scenes. She would be joining the cast a few days later. Hence, Lin Yan made use of her free time to visit the hospital. Lin Yan had been in a bad state ever since she had returned to the country. Initially, she had visited a psychiatrist for a while. However, she had given up on her treatment and even stopped halfway through her left leg rehabilitation. If she wanted to start afresh, she needed to be in good health. Lin Yan made an appointment with the psychiatrist. Her teammate had recommended her to her so she could trust her. Miss Lin, long time no see, the psychiatrist greeted her warmly. Lin Yan replied, long time no see, doctor, and the female doctor looked at her and asked with a smile, is there anything I can help you with? Lin Yan replied, I would like to ask for your help. I haven't taken any medication recently, so I'm not sure how I'm recovering. The female doctor glanced at the girl and smiled. I think Miss Lin doesn't need to be examined. From the moment Miss Lin stepped in, I can see that you're recovering very well. Lin Yan stroked her face. Am I? Is it that obvious? The female doctor, did something happy happen? Lin Yan blinked innocently. Something happy? The female doctor probed, are you in love? Lin Yan's eyes widened. How did you know that? Lin Yan sensed that something was amiss. That wasn't right. Although she was in love, it wasn't real. Wasn't she just pretending to be in love? Chapter 130. Lin Yin scratched her head. She was well aware of her own condition. Many things have happened recently. I've thought things through and I'm feeling much better. Thank you, Doctor. You're welcome. How is the situation you mentioned previously? Asked Doctor, and Lin Yin had mentioned to Doctor and that something was wrong with her. Lin Yin sighed and replied, I was about to tell you about this. This is the reason why I'm here today. There hasn't been anything like this recently, but I'm still worried. Doctor nodded and said, You've undergone a thorough examination, so there shouldn't be anything wrong with your body. I'm guessing that it might be a psychological problem. Doctor pondered for a moment before he added, Miss Lin, have you ever considered that the things you did when you lost your memory might have been your subconscious's true wish? Lin Yin was confused. True wish? Wouldn't that mean that she was the pervert? That's impossible. Lin Yin coughed softly. Doctor smiled and said, Actually, in psychology this kind of situation also happens. Some patients subconsciously have a strong desire to do something, but they usually suppress this desire. As time goes by, it might lead to a situation like yours. You might do it without knowing it and lose your memory afterward. Is it also my imagination that I'm talking to myself? That's a possibility, Lin Yin pondered for a moment. Actually, compared to schizophrenia and ghosts, Dr. An's explanation was more believable. Let's not talk about seeing a ghost. She was just trying to find a doctor in a desperate situation. As for schizophrenia, there were many other symptoms. Other than a few accidents, everything else was normal. It wouldn't affect her life and mental state at all. However, F***ck. If these were her subconscious thoughts, wouldn't this be even more terrifying? Why did she feel as though the main character in a fantasy novel had a demon in her heart? No matter what, Lin Yin felt more at ease now that she was in a stable condition. As for whether she was a pervert or a demon in her heart, perhaps she would be able to return to normal when she fully recovered. After leaving the clinic, Lin Yin headed to the rehabilitation department to make an appointment with the doctor. She had paid for a whole year's worth of rehabilitation classes before, but she had been too dispirited. Although she had made an appointment, she had not gone to the training. When she was abroad, her leg had recovered by more than half after treatment and training. Now that it was interrupted, she had to start all over again. However, the last thing she was afraid of was starting over. In a private training room, Lin Yin repeated the boring and difficult movements with the help of the physiotherapist. After 2 hours, Lin Yin was drenched in sweat. The physiotherapist recognized the patient immediately. She was Lin Yin, who had been the subject of much gossip recently. Chapter 131. The physiotherapist couldn't help but strike up a conversation. Miss Lin, you're amazing. Most people would groan in pain in less than 10 minutes. You didn't even frown after 2 hours? Really? Lin Yin chuckled and put on a long face. Actually, I've been crying in my heart. You just don't know. Rehabilitation training had been painful, but she had been through much harsher training before, so she was used to it. The physiotherapist, who hadn't expected her to say that, couldn't help but chuckle. He hadn't expected Lin Yin to be so approachable. She wasn't as pretentious and mean as the rumors had made her out to be. The physiotherapist couldn't help but chime in, Miss Lin, this is a serious mechanical injury. Your bones and muscles are severely injured. If you hadn't gotten a good doctor to operate on you, I'm afraid your leg would have been crippled. How did you get such a serious injury? Lin Yin, who was taken aback, replied casually, there was a small accident. It was a car accident. If it was that serious, it couldn't be considered a small accident, right? After all, this was a private matter. The physiotherapist nodded and didn't probe further. Today's training has ended. Remember to come on time next week. You really can't delay your recovery any longer. If you come any later, the muscles in your leg will be completely fused and you won't be able to recover. In the future, your high-precision movements will be affected. Lin Yin nodded. Got it. Thank you. The discussions on the internet were getting more and more intense. Meeting One's Match had been releasing photos of the celebrities, which had become a hot topic several times. Pei Nanshu's appearance in the movie had garnered a lot of praise. Jiang Sifei's photo had been edited so much that it didn't even look like her. Fans and netizens had also praised her. Although Jiang Sifei's photo had obviously been edited, she had managed to maintain a good reputation and reputation. Her fans had a good impression of her and were convinced of her acting skills. Hence, the comments below the photo were filled with praises and anticipation. Lin Yin hadn't taken any photos, so the official website hadn't released any photos of her character, Lin Pianruo. She was supposed to be the fourth female lead, so it wouldn't have mattered much. However, Meeting One's Matched was adapted from a novel of the same name. In the novel, Lin Pianruo's character wasn't written much, but a group of die-hard fans loved her. Hence, when the casting list was officially announced, almost all the fans were enraged when they saw that Lin Yan was going to be their goddess. What infuriated the fans the most was the fact that the fourth female lead, Lin Pianruo, and the fourth male lead, Fang Canyang, were playing the role of Wei Shufeng, who had become popular in the past 2 years. In the movie, Lin Pianruo was the domineering female CEO, while Fang Canyang was the domineering female CEO's little wolf dog. Fans of the novel had been looking forward to seeing Lin Pianruo as a couple, yet Lin Yan had chosen to play the role of Lin Pianruo. It felt like he had been fed a pile of sh*t. Therefore, the anger of the book's fans, with some people adding fuel to the fire, directly expanded infinitely. Chapter 132. F***CK. How could my Su and Lin Yan act as a couple? The production team is going crazy. Lin Yan is so ugly, yet she looks so innocent. How could she portray my Queen Pianruo? Did they cast a spell on Meeting One's Match? Boycott Meeting One's Match. If Lin Yan is cast as Lin Pianruo, I will never watch this show. Isn't she making a fool of herself? Damn it. Didn't you see that the production team hasn't even released a photo of Lin Pianruo? You know that Lin Yan can't be seen in public. After the official announcement of the cast, Wei Shufeng's fans started to tear into Lin Yan. Some of them even photoshopped Lin Yan's black and white photo. Lin Yan didn't respond at all. The only interaction she had with the netizens was, "Did you strike it rich today?" No, Lin Yan didn't know much about Wei Shufeng. She had only heard rumors about him. She simply liked to listen to his songs. She had heard that the Wei family was in the jewelry industry and was a wealthy family in the capital city. Wei Shufeng was the youngest and most beloved son of the Wei family. In terms of music, Wei Shufeng was indeed talented. He had studied music at a young age and made his debut at the age of 18. He had composed, arranged, played, and sung well. He was comparable to a band. When he had first debuted, he had swept the music industry with his exceptional talent. Subsequently, he had entered the film and television industry. He was considered a genius. Yet, such a talented man had fallen for Lin Shuya's charms. Both of them worked under Triumph Entertainment. Wei Shufeng could be considered Lin Shuya's senior brother. When Lin Shuya had just debuted, Wei Shufeng had specially groomed her and introduced her to many opportunities. It could be said that he had taken good care of her. Fans had even started to spread rumors about them, but they had been cleared up eventually. They had merely claimed that they were just brothers and sisters. They were a perfect couple, so it wouldn't be a big deal even if there were some rumors about them. Instead, it would be the icing on the cake. Many fans even believed that they were a couple. Although the fans weren't aware of it, the insiders in the industry knew that Wei Shufeng had fallen in love with Lin Shuya. Even after she had started dating Han Yixuan, he had still pursued her relentlessly. With her angelic appearance, Lin Shuya had many admirers and supporters. Wei Shufeng was just one of them. Previously, Pei Yutong had said that Lin Shuya had connections, and it wasn't groundless. Lin Shuya's father was the chairman of Triumph Entertainment, Lin Yuetong. Her boyfriend was the heir of the Han Corporation, Han Yixuan. Her senior brother was a talented musician, Wei Shufeng, and her piano teacher was the renowned pianist, Yu Zihong. Her professional mentor was the vice president of the Imperial Capital Film Academy. She was like the heroine in those novels who had the halo of the main character. Everyone loved and cared for her, and she would often meet noble people. The talented young men around her were all infatuated with her kindness and beauty, unable to extricate themselves. In comparison, Lin Yan seemed like a vicious female antagonist. Just as the situation was heating up, the article about Lin Yan and Wei Shufeng's scandal surfaced again. They even claimed that Wei Shufeng was infatuated with Lin Yan, which made his fans even more disgusted. Lin Yan didn't have to guess to know that this was Lin Shuya's way of making people hate her. When she had first found out that Wei Shufeng was going to be Fang Canyang's actor, Lin Yan had already predicted this. At that time, this young Master Wei would definitely cause a huge ruckus. Indeed, not only had Wei Shufeng liked the article about how Lin Yan had bullied his sister, but he had also gone online to repost the gossip about them. Chapter 133. That night, Lin Yan was lying in bed reading gossip. Her phone rang. It was Zhao Hongling. "Hello, Sister Ling? Have you seen Wei Shufeng's Weibo post?" Zhao Hongling had indeed called to ask about it. "I'm reading it," replied Lin Yan. She had originally gone online to update her Weibo account. However, she had realized that there had been a lot more comments than usual. Hence, she had decided to check on Wei Shufeng's Weibo post. After skimming through the comments, she returned to her Weibo page and continued to edit her post. Did I strike it rich today? Nope. I'm sure you've heard about Wei Shufeng's background. We can't afford to offend him. Besides, he's known for his bad temper. He doesn't give face to anyone. I'm afraid that he will make things difficult for you. My schedule is very busy tomorrow, so I won't be able to accompany you. Be careful and bear with him. Don't get into a conflict with him, Zhao Hongling reminded her. Lin Yan nodded obediently. Got it, Sister Ling. Zhao Hongling sighed heavily. If he goes overboard, remember to call me. I will handle it. Wei Shufeng's reputation in the industry was mixed. He was indeed talented, but he had a terrible temper. He was a troublemaker who would stir up trouble every other day. However, no one dared to voice their anger. After all, he had the right to be arrogant. What was more troublesome was that the public opinion was on Wei Shufeng's side this time. The public opinion was already unfavorable to them. If Wei Shufeng was added to the mix, Zhao Hongling had already prepared herself for the worst. If things didn't work out, they would have to give up on the movie. Duo will accompany you tomorrow. That girl is straightforward and prejudiced against you. Don't take it to heart. I have already explained to her. Although she might still feel uncomfortable, she will help you in your daily life and work. Don't worry. Lin Yan's heart warmed when she heard Zhao Hongling's words. Thank you, Sister Ling. She didn't mind Duoduo's attitude towards her. On the contrary, Duoduo's obvious disgust made her feel more at ease. At least she wouldn't have to worry about the people around her. Her previous assistant was obedient and took good care of her, but the things she did behind her back were enough to make her shudder. Ever since he had started following Zhao Hongling, he had caused her countless troubles, but she had never given up on him. In reality, she could have placed all her energy on artists that were more worthy of her attention. But even during her most difficult times, Zhao Hongling still took care of her. It was only because she was an artist under her management. The next day, the crew was very lively. It was as if they were celebrating the new year. They gathered in groups and gossiped. Hey, did you guys see Wei Shufeng's post last night? Aha, of course I did. It was so satisfying. Wei Tianwang was too domineering. He had even declared that he had to be blind to have fallen for Lin Yan. It's already trending today. Chapter 134. The man paused for a moment before he lowered his voice. Besides, who doesn't know that Wei Shufeng is interested in Lin Shuya? His goddess has been bullied so badly. How could he not help her? Only someone like Lin Yan would be so shameless as to fight with Lin Shuya for a man. Doesn't she know that she is the laughingstock of the industry? She even dares to act as Lin Pianruo. What else wouldn't she dare to do? I just don't know if she still dares to come today after provoking Heavenly King Wei's thunderous rage. Just as the staff member finished speaking, the studio suddenly fell silent for a moment. Lin Yan, who was wearing a casual outfit and a baseball cap, strode in. Her assistant, Qian Duo, trailed behind her. Almost at the instant the two of them walked in, countless strange gazes instantly turned to look at them. It's Lin Yan. Oh my god. She is really thick-skinned. How dare she show up? This is a chance to act as a couple with Wei Shufeng. How could she let it go? She would come even if she had to kneel down and lick his boots. TSK. When is Wei Shufeng coming? I can't wait to see how Wei Shufeng will tear her apart. It's going to be a huge show. I can't wait any longer. Duo had been working for Jiang Sifei for a long time, so she was used to everyone's politeness. However, after working for Lin Yan for 2 days, she had heard all sorts of sarcastic comments and insults. Duoduo's face darkened. To be honest, this is the first time I've met an artist like you. How could you criticize her so thoroughly? As long as there was someone scolding Lin Yan on the internet, then they would be friends. Lin Yan grinned at the lass. Am I that good? I actually managed to unify everyone's taste. The corners of Duoduo's mouth twitched. I really don't know how you can be so heartless. Do you know who you have offended this time? You are about to die, yet you are still making sarcastic remarks. Is Wei Shufeng that scary? Lin Yan raised an eyebrow. Duo looked shocked. Of course. Haven't you heard of him? Given Wei Shufeng's family background, he had already been the #1 hedonist in the capital before he had even entered the entertainment industry. After entering the entertainment circle, he became even more domineering. No one dared to provoke him. As long as there was something that displeased him, he would turn the world upside down. You're already lucky that he didn't pursue the matter of you riding on his popularity last time. Now that you've stirred up such a scandal, he definitely won't let it go. The more Duo spoke, the angrier she got. So why did you do this behind Sister Ling's back? How dare you create such a scandal? Do you have a death wish? Lin Yan blinked innocently. Who said that I created those rumors? Who else could it be other than you? Lin Yan quipped, I don't have any money. How could I buy a draft? Toto actually choked on his own words. During this period she was certain that Lin Yan was really poor. The clothes he was wearing were all cheap brands, and he was carrying a tattered canvas bag with the blinding words, sudden wealth, printed on it. Despite the dangerous situation, she had chosen to take the subway. She really cared about money more than her life. She couldn't stand the content of her Weibo account anymore. Lin Yan patted Toto's shoulder with a smile. Besides, given my capabilities, there's no need for me to waste money. Chapter 135. When she reached the makeup room, the stylist and his assistant were already there. The stylist was a fine-looking man who was dressed to the nines. His waist was even slimmer than a woman's and his nails were clean and neat. His face was covered in makeup, and his hair was dyed flaxen. He was wearing a trendy brand that had recently become popular. The man ignored Lin Yan as he glanced at her from the corner of his eye. Then he resumed his conversation with his assistant. His assistant couldn't help but size up Lin Yan. Brother Kevin, is she Lin Yan? Her features are not bad, but her dressing is a little too crude. Lin Yan stepped forward and greeted him. Hello, Lin Yan. The stylist scrutinized her from head to toe and replied slowly, I'm Kevin, your stylist. Shall we begin now? Asked Lin Yan. The stylist's eyes scanned her face. Did you put on makeup? Lin Yan replied, No, I just applied some skin care. The stylist raised an eyebrow in surprise. Alright then. You don't have to remove your makeup. Apply some moisturizer while I get ready. I'll come back later. Lin Yan nodded and sat down in front of the dresser. Duo looked worried as she scrolled through the news. She paced back and forth beside Lin Yan. Wei Shufeng's post on Weibo yesterday has already become a hot topic. His fans have become even more aggressive. What should I do? My first scene today is with Wei Shufeng. Lin Yan rummaged through her bag for some time before she took out a bottle of moisturizer. She rubbed it on her face and said, Relax. I'll deal with whatever comes my way. The stylist, Kevin, walked over with the makeup kit. Lin Yan whipped out something to wipe her face. She glanced at her and asked, What are you using to wipe your face? Moisturizer. It's Nature Hall's Dragon Blood Energy Moisturizer. Isn't the name cool? Lin Yan held the red and black bottle in her hand. Kevin was shocked when he heard her. Nature Hall was a national brand that was cheap and effective. Besides, she had good skin, so this brand was good enough. However, the problem was, isn't this for men? Kevin asked. Lin Yan blinked in confusion. Huh? Really? I asked the shop assistant which one was the most convenient, and she recommended this one. He said that the combination of toner, essence and lotion is all in one bottle. Toto silently held his forehead. He simply didn't want to admit that this was his artist. Why don't you just die of laziness? Kevin seemed to be at a loss for words. He stood there in a daze, his face full of disbelief. Are you a woman or not? The stylist had never expected that Lin Yan, who was rumored to have seduced all the male celebrities in the entertainment industry, would be even rougher than a man. Kevin, the internet is calling you a hypocritical b****th. Are you worthy of the netizens' comments? Lin Yan coughed. I'm really sorry. Kevin leaned closer to the girl's face and scrutinized it carefully. You really don't have any makeup on. Your skin is in such good condition. Have you always used this? Lin Yan replied. Yeah, I've been using it for a long time. What? Kevin replied. Ahem. I'm fine. Chapter 136. How long will the makeup take? Asked Lin Yan. Kevin replied expressionlessly. About 2 hours. That long? Lin Yan was shocked. Kevin replied. Is that long? That's just the makeup. I need half an hour to get my hair done, and I'm not sure how long it will take. It can't be. Lin Yan looked as though she was about to die. Kevin rolled his eyes at her. Didn't you used to put on makeup? Didn't you use this time? Many celebrities wake up early in the morning to do their makeup. I used to take at most half an hour. Lin Yan muttered to herself. Kevin was exasperated as he bellowed, "You're a celebrity. You have to go on stage every day. Why would you need half an hour to put on makeup? No wonder you've never had a good makeup or styling before, even though you have such a good foundation. No matter how bad your condition was, you shouldn't have looked like that. What kind of messy stylist did you find? Don't you know that you're wasting a heavenly gift? You're committing a crime." Lin Yin shrunk her neck as she was being berated. She had no choice as she didn't know much about these things. Lin Shuya had been the one who had arranged everything for her. Was this stylist obsessive-compulsive? Even if she was ugly, she would be ugly to herself. Was she in his way? Is that so? I think it looks good. Lin Yin replied meekly. Anyway, it would save her trouble as long as it was done quickly. Kevin seemed to have been completely subdued by her beauty. He picked up a makeup brush and placed his hands on his waist as he bellowed, "Beautiful, my foot. I'll show you what true beauty is today." Kevin turned Lin Yan's face to the side as he began to design her makeup. Kevin couldn't stop praising her good skin and perfect facial features as he casually asked, "What was your previous occupation? Were you always an artist?" "Before?" Lin Yan was startled as she mumbled, "Not before. My previous job was a little rough. Most of the employees were men." Kevin looked as though he had expected it. "No wonder. Why did you decide to enter this industry?" Lin Yan replied, "I made a lot of money." Kevin said, "Okay." At first he thought that she would at least talk about life and ideals. Her answer was quite straightforward and surprisingly he didn't dislike it. Kevin glanced at her attire and couldn't help but say, "Based on the films and commercials you've accepted before, your income should be decent. You shouldn't be so poor, right? Look at you. You don't buy clothes, bags, or cosmetics. Where did you spend all your money?" "Haha. I'm not interested." Lin Yin replied perfunctorily as she avoided the question. A portion of her earnings were spent on Lin Shuya, a portion was invested in Angel's Shelter, and a large portion was invested in Darling's Home Charity Foundation. As time passed, it seemed that everyone had forgotten that she had a younger brother who had been lost since he was a child. However, she could not forget. Every time she thought of that little figure who followed behind her every day, she felt as if a knife was being twisted in her heart. All these years, she was afraid that her mother would be agitated, so she never dared to mention a word in front of her mother. However, she had never forgotten, nor had she given up. As long as she was alive, she would never give up searching. She must find her brother. Chapter 137. Lin Yin was in the middle of her makeup when she heard a commotion outside the makeup room. Duo peeked outside worriedly. "I think it's Wei Shufeng. I'm going out to take a look." "Okay." Lin Yin waved her hands casually and pleaded with Kevin for the umpteenth time. "Can I play a few games?" Kevin's face darkened. "No, you have to stay in this position. How am I supposed to put on makeup if you lower your head?" Lin Yan's heart ached as she muttered under her breath, "Time is money." It was torture for her to just sit there and do nothing. Kevin glanced at her. "Aren't you the least bit concerned that Wei Shufeng is here?" Lin Yin replied, "Why should I be concerned?" Kevin replied, "He's your rumored boyfriend after all." Lin Yin replied, "I have so many rumored boyfriends. He won't make a difference." Kevin was speechless. Indeed, Wei Shufeng had arrived at the set. The newcomer was wearing a black flight jacket and was dressed in a punk heavy metal style. His slightly curly hair was dyed a dazzling reddish-brown, and he wore a ruby earring in one ear. His eyebrows were sharp, his nose was tall, and his light golden eyes were full of arrogance and unruliness. Unlike his gentle name, Gentle Breeze, Wei Shufeng exuded an intense, aggressive aura the moment he appeared. He was like a raging storm. The crew, extras, and a few small-time celebrities screamed and screamed at the top of their lungs. Even Duo, who was hiding in the back, almost cried out in surprise. Wei Shufeng was indeed worthy of his nickname, Tropical Storm. Up close, he looked even more handsome in person than he did in photos and on television. His face was simply too handsome. Oh my God. The Prince of Pop is too handsome. He's too suitable for the role of a wolf puppy. I'll be satisfied as a fan. Producer Feng Anhua, director Jiang Ming, and assistant director Wu Wenhai had arrived personally. Wei Shufeng's handsome face was gloomy. He waved away the coffee that his assistant had brought him impatiently and plopped down on the couch. Feng Anhua's face was full of smiles as he warmly welcomed him. Young Master Wei, you finally arrived. Hurry up and put on your makeup and change your clothes. I've specially prepared a separate makeup room for you, and there's even a top-notch stylist. Yes, yes, you will definitely be satisfied. Assistant Director Wu Wenhai also quickly echoed. They were naturally aware of Wei Shufeng's outburst yesterday and his Weibo post. They were afraid that he would stir up trouble today. Wei Shufeng crossed his legs and propped them on the coffee table. The corners of his mouth twitched as he sneered coldly. Don't play this game with me. Feng Anhua and the others knew that they were in trouble. Indeed, Wei Shufeng's expression darkened as he said, I only agreed to play this role because of junior sister Shuya. Now that you've replaced my raccoon with this woman, you're forcing me to act as a couple with her. How dare you? Wei Shufeng had agreed to play the supporting role because he had assumed that He Shanshan would be the supporting actress. Chapter 138. Feng Anhua quipped, to make up for our mistake, we have arranged another role for Miss He Shanshan. She will be joining the production crew today. Wei Shufeng leaned against the couch. So, that's it? Feng Anhua had guessed that Wei Shufeng would cause a scene yesterday. In order to appease him, he had thought of a way to arrange another role for He Shanshan. However, it seemed like he wouldn't be so easily appeased. The atmosphere was in a deadlock. At this time, the other female artists also walked over. The female lead was Jiang Sifei, who was also the award-winning actress. After joining the rich and powerful House of Millions Media, Jiang Sifei had changed from a shotgun to a cannon. She had changed from head to toe. Jiang Sifei was wearing a luxurious Chanel gown and a Cartier bracelet. Her skin seemed to have been injected with needles, as it was so delicate that it looked as though it would break at the slightest touch. She looked radiant and glamorous as though she had been a country girl. The pretty girl beside Jiang Sifei was He Shanshan, who had just joined the production crew. She had cried with her cousin Lin Shuya, for days after Lin Yan had emptied their house. Lin Shuya had told her to stay at home and wait for news. That morning she had received a call from the producer, Feng Anhua, to apologize and ask her to report to the production crew. She had been chased out of the production crew the last time, but she had been invited back this time. She was elated. Hello, Producer Feng. Hello, Director Jiang. He Shanshan greeted them proudly. They had rejected her in the past. Now they had to invite her back personally. Feng Anhua acted as though nothing had happened as he greeted her warmly. Hello, Miss He. We meet again. Young Master Wei isn't in a good mood today. I hope that Miss He can put in a good word for us in front of him. He Shanshan snorted coldly and didn't reply. Jiang Sifei strode over in her high heels, looking like a senior. She asked Wei Shufeng gently, what's wrong? Who made our young Master Wei unhappy this time? Wei Shufeng was an artist under Triumph Entertainment, while Jiang Sifei had just joined House of Millions Media. House of Millions Media was a subsidiary of Triumph Entertainment. Hence, she and Wei Shufeng were considered artists under the same company. Because of this, she had become closer to Wei Shufeng. If this had happened in the past, she wouldn't have had the right to speak to Wei Shufeng when she was still working at a small rundown factory like Star Entertainment. He Shanshan, who was holding Jiang Sifei's arm affectionately, snorted softly. Sister Sifei, who else could it be? It must be that ugly and mischievous person. It wasn't the first time that she had caught up with Brother Feng to create hype. This time she even chased him into the crew. Brother Feng must be disgusted. Acting as a couple with that kind of ugly and vicious woman, who can stand it? He Shanshan's face reddened as she sized up Wei Shufeng. Oh my god. Who would have thought that Wei Shufeng was 100 times more handsome in real life? That face was like a meticulous creation from the hands of God, and it was obvious that he had been influenced by the elite nobles since he was young. Although he looked unruly, there was a noble aura around him, as if he was a prince that walked out of a comic book. He Shanshan couldn't take her eyes off him. At the same time, her eyes were filled with hatred. Chapter 139. Jiang Sifei consoled Wei Shufeng like a caring sister. Shufeng, don't be angry. It's not worth it to hurt your health. Yeah. Brother Feng, if you hurt your health, Sister Shuya will be sad too. He Shanshan hurriedly chimed in and introduced herself. Oh yeah, Brother Feng. I'm He Shanshan, Sister Shuya's cousin. When Wei Shufeng saw Jiang Sifei and He Shanshan, he merely glanced at them. He had no intention of responding to them. It was obvious that he wasn't in a good mood today. He Shanshan looked a little disappointed. However, she regained her composure quickly. She would have a chance to act with Wei Shufeng soon. Jiang Sifei knew that Wei Shufeng was always like this, so she didn't mind. She turned around and looked at Feng Anhua. In a serious tone, she said, "Producer Feng, you've seen for yourself what has happened. This was supposed to be a good show. From the director to the casting, the entire cast was top-notch, but they just had to stick a rat's sh*t into it. Aren't they trying to disgust us? It's no wonder that Xufeng is so angry. No matter what, you have to give us an explanation. You have to give the fans of the book and the fans an explanation." He Shanshan looked aggrieved and angry. "When I auditioned for the role of Lin Pianruo, everyone said that I acted well. However, Director Jiang didn't choose me. Alright then, I believe in Director Jiang's professionalism. I can only blame my lack of acting skills. However, you are telling me that someone like Lin Pianruo was chosen. What's the meaning of this? Do you think that I'm inferior to Lin Yan? I'm a graduate of the Imperial Film and Television Academy, right?" Now, on account of Wei Xufeng, they had arranged another supporting actress for her. Although this supporting actress scenes weren't bad, she couldn't be compared to Lin Yan's character. Lin Yan's character had many fans, and she would be acting with Wei Xufeng. Many actresses dreamed of acting as a couple with Wei Xufeng. She had heard from Shuya's cousin that Wei Xufeng would be playing a supporting role in the movie. She had originally intended to play the role of Lin Pianruo. She had wanted to make use of Wei Xufeng's fame to make a name for herself. Who would have thought that the role would end up in the hands of that wretched Lin Yan? How could she not be angry? Originally, even though He Shanshan was unhappy, she didn't dare to complain in front of a famous director like Jiang Yiming. After all, Zhou Feng had suddenly left the stage. However, things were different now. With Wei Xufeng taking the lead and Jiang Sifei backing them up, she could definitely add fuel to the fire. At that time, the fourth female lead's position would be empty, and she would be able to take it. Jiang Yiming couldn't tolerate He Shanshan's shameless boasting. He glanced at Wei Xufeng and said, "I personally auditioned for the role. Miss He Shanshan isn't suitable for the role of Lin Pianruo. If you had seen her performance, I'm sure you wouldn't have been satisfied." Before He Shanshan could reply, Wei Xufeng smirked. "So, does Director Jiang look satisfied with my performance?" Jiang Yiming coughed softly. "Actually, you can try Lin Yan's acting skills yourself." Wei Xufeng quipped, "Director Jiang, are you saying that this pile of sh*t is not bad? Should I try it first?" Chapter 140. Wei Xufeng sneered coldly. "I'm afraid I don't have such fetishes. Why don't you hire someone else?" Feng Anhua and Jiang Yiming panicked when they heard him. They had hired Wei Xufeng not only because he was suitable for the role of Fang Canyang, but also because they hoped that he would sing the ending song. If they pissed him off, then their ending song would be ruined. Many people had begged Wei Xufeng to sing a song to their heart's content. He Shanshan's face was flushed as she watched Wei Xufeng. He was so handsome. Was Wei Xufeng venting his anger on her behalf? He had to be hoping that she would play the role of Lin Pianruo. Hence, He Shanshan regained her confidence and said indignantly, "Brother Feng isn't the only one who wouldn't agree. The other artists wouldn't agree either. Acting with such a person would lower our standards. Lin Pianruo isn't just knowledgeable, capable and good-looking. She outshines all the other supporting actresses. Are you trying to humiliate us by choosing an ugly and vicious monster?" Lin Yan had caught a glimpse of her when she had first debuted, but her beauty had been indescribable. When Jiang Yiming had first chosen the actress, he had placed more emphasis on her aura than her looks. He felt a little weak when he heard Lin Yan's words. He wasn't sure if Lin Yan would be able to handle the role. Of course, all of this was secondary now. Lin Yan's acting skills and looks weren't important anymore. The problem now was if the other artists objected or even refused to perform. That would be a huge problem. One of them was the leading actress, Jiang Sifei, while the other was He Shanshan, who had Wei Xufeng's support. Neither of them was easy to deal with. Feng Anhua patted Jiang Yiming's shoulder and said softly, "Director Jiang, stop hesitating. Let's find someone else. This is the only way." Jiang Yiming's face darkened. "At least give her a chance to audition." Feng Anhua looked helpless. "Director Jiang, even if you want to audition, young Master Wei has to agree first. Look at Wei Xufeng. He hates Lin Yan to the core. How could he be willing to audition with her? If we push him any further, we won't be able to sing the ending song. For a mere fourth female lead, the gains do not make up for the losses." He had initially wanted to make use of Lin Yan to create more hype. However, Lin Yan had ended up kicking Wei Xufeng. He could only give up now. Jiang Yiming still wanted to fight for a chance. He glanced at Wei Xufeng and asked, "Young Master Wei then, you mean, Before Wei Shufeng could speak, He Shanshan cut in with a cold expression. Isn't Brother Feng's intention obvious enough? Of course it's a substitution. Jiang Yiming pondered. We've already started shooting. If we change people at the last minute, in order to please Wei Shufeng, Jiang Sifei hurriedly added, isn't there someone who can replace you? Shanshan can replace Lin Yan. I believe Shufeng will be satisfied. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.